Spears shall be shaken, shields shall be splintered. A sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And this is Filmgazm. Merry Christmas, everybody. Couple days after Christmas here, and we got a very special episode on the plate. Lord of the Rings draft bonanza. We brought on my two older brothers, Jeremy and Adam. We'll allow them to take the floor here in a second. And I want to just jump right in to kind of like why we all love these movies, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King. Just, for me, some of my favorite stuff ever. I've talked about it plenty of times on the show. But I want to start with Adam, the oldest of the bunch here. Give us a brief synopsis of your journey with these movies.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this. I figured this would come up at some point when we're talking about this. Happy to be on this. This is going to be so fun. I think all four feel so fondly for these and have a lot to say. So this is going to be awesome. I am not really a fantasy guy, honestly, and it's always kind of surprises people how much I like these movies. They're three of my 10 to 12 favorite movies ever. I mean, I really think it's like that high. Like this trilogy, if you can count it as one, it'd be like a top 10 movie for me, no question.
Yeah.
Just absolutely love them. And I saw the third one in theaters. Did any of you guys see any of them in theaters?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Well,
I didn't think y'all did.
Jeremy.
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I saw part of one of them in theaters.
So I did. Our dad took me to see the third one, Return of the King.
Because you would have been 13.
I just turned 13. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it came out in December of 2003. So yeah, I was 13,
Yeah.
and we went and watched it. And I had watched. I can't remember how I watched them. We must have got the DVD or something. But I knew I'd seen the other two like right before the third one came out. And like I had a bunch of friends at school that were into it, and so I was like, I'll give this a try. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But I would say my love for it didn't happen until a few years later. And then by the time I was like kind of college age, and like I'd seen them maybe each a handful of time, and I lived with a couple guys in College Station that were really into them, and had some kind of friends that were really into it, and it just kind of blew up around that time when I was like kind of early 20s, and just like now every few years I'll go through and watch all three of them. I've seen the extended versions, obviously seen all three Hobbit movies. This is by far the superior trilogy. I don't think that even merits discussion.
We don't even have that.
Discussion.
We're just not going to talk about those.
No, we're just not going to talk about it. Yeah, and they're not like totally worthless, but they're just
no. They're
Okay.
fine. They're fine.
Jerry says I beg to differ. No, they're just nowhere near the quality of this, and so that's where I have not read the books. I didn't grow up like loving these. It's not these characters aren't like I don't have like a tattoo of any of them on my arm or anything like that. But I do love these. I do love these movies very deeply.
Yes. Yeah. It's been cool to watch your journey with them. Obviously, you're a few years older than I, and I'd say this is the trilogy that bonds us three as brothers the most. And of course, Connor's admiration for it just kind of goes right into, our language with it. Even so, like to the degree where I think 2 years ago we did a quote draft, us four, just for fun, like Lord of the Rings quote draft, and we were just pulling out all these crazy quotes, like Connor dropped the potatoes, boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. We just did that for fun to pass time. So like Connor. He just jumps right into this. So, of course, we have to have all four of us on this episode. Jeremy, I know the passion for you runs a little earlier than Adam did as far as age goes.
All these episodes of Filmgazm I've been on, there's always that question at the top, like the relationship, and I don't ever fucking remember that shit. But I do have like one distinct memory of Two Towers. We were at the Neubauer's house, which was like this family friends of ours back in the day. And I remember standing on the landing of like their second floor and seeing my mom walk in and just being like, fuck yes, I'm going to go home and watch the blockbuster rental of Two Towers. Because she had rented both of them for me. I don't remember why.
This is awesome.
Yeah. And then so Return of the King came out, and Adam and my dad went to see it, and fucking they my mom was going to take me to see it, and then they were like, "Oh, it's really scary though, Jeremy." I was a pretty meek child, and I was like, "No, it's not going to be scary." And they were like, "Yes, it is." To the point where in my mind, they were fucking with me. I mean, that was a long time ago, but my mom took me to the fucking theater, and we're sitting there watching the opening scenes. I think the last scene I remember seeing was it's like Aragorn and Gandalf talking like in Rohan, and he's like, "What does your heart tell you?" Like that scene. And I remember being like, "Mom, we gotta leave. Like I can't do it." And it was Shelob. Is what the scene was that y'all like. There's a giant spider. It's gonna scare the shit out of you, Jeremy. And I was like, "Stop!" And Mom was like, "Y'all stop it. Y'all stop that right now." But I did eventually see it. I think after I graduated from elementary school, it was on DVD. I remember watching it that day, which, I mean, what a dumb fucking tradition that we graduate from elementary school, but whatever. That's when I eventually saw it. I remember watching it and being like, this is scary. I'm not scared of anything. Yeah, but I fucking love these movies. Also, have any of us read the books?
No.
Yeah, I've read like 2/3 of Fellowship and just never gotten through it. I've actually read.
I tried.
I've read like an entire encyclopedia, like of knowledge. Like I have a book that's like a Tolkien like encyclopedia, and I've read that, but I've never read the book. I never got through it. I don't know.
Yeah. 5th grade graduation. What a great day. A
Yeah,
red day.
One of the few movies I have like distinct memories tied to them. Like normally they're just kind of like movies that were always there that I saw when I was a kid, but I do have like pretty distinct memories of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I definitely want to have I'm sure we'll jump into like a video game conversation at one point because that's a big part of. Yeah. Connor.
Yeah.
Connor, let's hear your journey with these movies. I've heard it, but I don't know if Adam and Jeremy have.
These movies have always just sort of been there for me. They're a big part of my mom and I watch these a lot. Like my mom's into a lot of movies, but like there's a connection to Lord of the Rings that we have that is different. I remember going to see Return of the King when I would have been 8 at the time. Yeah. And my mom got in a lot of trouble because she bailed on making Christmas dinner to take me to see Return of the King because she wanted to see Return. Everyone was like, "You didn't make dinner," and she was like, "You guys know how to cook." Like it was it still comes up. I honestly I don't remember like my first time with these movies. I remember when I was a kid, whenever we go to my aunt's house, and they were having a barbecue or something, and I always wanted to just go leave the social gathering and go watch a movie somewhere. That's always what I've wanted to do. I don't need to be social. I'll do that somewhere else. So I would go find my aunt's bedroom, look in her movie collection, and I always watched Fellowship. She had that one. She didn't have the rest of it. She just had Fellowship on DVD. So I would always get, let's say, an hour into Fellowship before it was time to go. I never got to Moria. So I've seen the beginning of Fellowship 100-something times. And it's just these movies are so amazingly constructed. I admire how like the longevity of these films. They look amazing still. The CGI and animatronics working together looks phenomenal. In terms of adaptation, I have not read The Lord of the Rings yet. I tried in middle school and I was like, this doesn't make sense. I remember reading that like there's like an 11-year gap between the time where Gandalf leaves to Minas Tirith to go find out if the ring really is the ring, and then he comes back to the Shire. That's like a weekend in the movie. It's 11 fucking years in the book.
Yeah. Everything's stretched out a little more. I will say, like at my age now, I just read the first 6 chapters. It's actually a pretty easy fucking read, like as an adult. Like, so I'm trying to get back on it because that feels like a failing as a fan for me. Like I'm so ridiculously fucking into this shit. Like
why haven't I done that yet? I did read The Hobbit a few years ago and I enjoyed that. But yeah, I just haven't. I have a nice collection, like a nice set I got for Christmas a few years ago. I have to do it. It's just a matter of doing it at this point.
It's a matter of when.
Last year, I watched. I got to see the theatrical re-releases of all three films at the Draft House. They did a whole thing, and like over a 3 week period, and that was really cool because I hadn't seen the theatrical cuts in a long, long time. I'm an extended cut purist, and it was. They're doing a re-release of the extendeds in January, and I think I'm gonna go.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
I remember when The Hobbit was coming out. I was living in College Station, and the Cinemark that I lived right next to did a full day marathon of the three extended versions. Like you buy a ticket for like all three, you just like be there all day. And so people would like there'd be a break between the movies, and then people would go grab food, come back, and I went and watched. Like I had stuff going on most of the day, but I went and watched Return of the King with like a bunch of people that I coached and some of their parents and stuff like that. It was really cool. It was like a really cool event, and some of them had stayed there. I'd been there all day. Like they were there all the day. Both that school and the school that I'm at now are classical education schools, and so they had like that. There's a class right now at the school that I coach at that is a Tolkien and Lewis class. So like these kids all read like all this stuff, and they like I talked to them about this. I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching Lord of the Rings. I'm doing a podcast about it, and they all really like The Hobbit as a book, but kind of are like, yeah, no, that's like the movies. You know, definitely like the original trilogy is better and stuff like that. But a lot of them like are really familiar with the character.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like for them, it's like not as like it's like not that big of a gap. It's like, oh yeah, they're better, but like I like The Hobbit, and like because when that came out is like when we were
yeah,
the age we were at when like the other ones came out. So it kind of has like this more like this thing attached. They have this like attachment to like those movies because like, oh, those are like our things. So which is fair, and I'll listen to that. But like quality of movie, it's not even close.
Yeah. So Connor, I love the idea that like now when you watch Fellowship, are you like, do you like want to fast forward to the first hour because you're like, I've seen this 1,000 times.
All right. So I'm not proud of this, but I have at times just said like, I just want to get to Moria. I want to see a Balrog, and I'll just go straight to Moria.
Yeah.
Not lately, not for a few years. Now I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
This deserves my full attention.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good segue into my adoration for them. Is I watched them all in August, extended, all three of them, and then I did it again this past week, and not once was I like questioning my decision to do that. I knew we were doing this episode back in August. I knew it was coming, but there was just something about, I don't know what it was, what season was happening as far like in my like mental state. I had to watch Lord of the Rings. It just like hit me, and I don't know. I enjoyed it this time just as much as that time, as much as the time before, and as much as I did when I was 10. And I mean, I went back and found, because I was trying to find, I was Frodo for Halloween one year, and I went back and found.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that.
I remember that. Yeah,
I went back and I found the picture. I was 11, so 2006, and that's definitely the time when I started to latch on to these movies, and I have the very, very vivid memories of specifically when we would go as a family driving to Post, Texas. We would always watch these movies, like because we had like the screens like in the car or whatever, like on the like that thing that came down. It was like oh, it looks like a sunglass thing that you put a compartment, but it was like a little TV, and like to pass, because it's like a 6-7 hour drive, to pass that time is like, oh, let's watch Lord of the Rings on the way there and on the way back. And so I have vivid memories of that little screen, but just being so locked into it even at a young age. And of course, as I've gotten older, you start to really gain an appreciation for the craft of these movies. And of course, Peter Jackson and Andrew Lesnie, the cinematographer, who I think is the unsung hero of the entire thing. I think these movies are so pretty and so easy to look at, so fun. New Zealand is beautiful, but they make it look even more beautiful. I'm just head over heels for them. And I'll bring in the video game in now. That Return of the King video game, I mean, there's like things that I can pinpoint between both my brothers. What kind of like brings us like, oh, we don't really need to talk. This thing just kind of just does that for us. And Adam and I definitely have a lot of things in common. But there's something about that game that Jeremy and I like really, really connected. And it's like super special to me because it was always like, oh, he's whatever, Aragorn or Legolas or whatever, and I'll be like the secondary guy. And Jeremy would always get, because they like rank your kills like excellent, good, fair. And he would have like 30 excellents, a couple goods, and like one fair. And I would have like 3 goods and 40 fairs. I was
crush
no...
that fucking game rules, man. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
I like,
really,
yeah.
like it's not
it's so good.
It's not like that. Like, I have to separate sometimes because like a lot of the Lord of the Rings games are not that great, but like I fucking love them so much.
Yeah.
Even that one included, like there's a lot of issues with it. I mean, it's a film license movie, and those are often pretty fucking terrible. Like, but like I the second you brought that up, so the character select screen where it's just kind of this like mist, and that fucking that Eyzaguirre theme comes in. It's like, and then like the fucking sound. I remember like pushing the characters and the sound it makes when you change characters. Doing it to the beat, and then when you pick them to do their finishing move, and it's like stabbing the ground. Dude, but that game fucking rules, man.
Honestly, I have memories of watching y'all play that. Like because I didn't play it as much. I was so like I'm so boring and just played like mostly sports games. But like I remember watching you guys play that, and it is like pretty fascinating. And like Jeremy, you were obviously like ridiculously good at it. So it's just like you kind of power through these levels so quickly, and it was just like man, it actually does kind of feel like the movie at times. Like it does follow the story pretty closely.
Yeah, well, no, it's a film license movie. So yeah, like I mean, so there's the Two Towers game which covered like Fellowship, and then also Two Towers because there's like less battle sequences in those two. To combine, so it combines both of them. But Return of the King, like. It's got like it's got the Gandalf tree where you do like, there's like a Fangorn sequence and then like we don't need to get into
there's an Army of the Dead sequence. Yeah, no,
the opening level is the Army of the Dead like level. And I got that game again whenever I was living with you, Adam, in St. Louis. Like I bought it again on PS2 and I would play it and like the exact same feeling, like the exact same sensation of like,
it's not.
God.
It's Helm's Deep. Helm's Deep is
Helm's Deep is first. Yeah, you're right.
Because it's tutorial. Like, it drops you in as Gandalf, and then
you're right. You're right. Finishing Two Towers, going into Return of the King stuff. Yeah, so cool. And they do the and the dead keep it. You're like so cool though. And I don't know, like that kind of stuff is really important to me. And these movies they just connect people in a really special way. And Adam and I have seen that now in this group chat that we're in with a couple guys that he went to high school with, Marty Cruz and Matt Stepter, who are both big Lord of the Rings fans. But like out of nowhere, Marty was like, I'm in the middle of a rewatch of the trilogy of the extended cuts or whatever. We were like, what? That's crazy. We're like, so are we. So we've like been talking the past couple of days about different quotes and moments, and Matt has been sharing his thoughts about some of his favorite little aspects of the movies, and it's just like this ultimate like dude bond. You're just like you can't deny it.
Yeah. So he sends us this. This is at 7:52 last night.
Nice.
Marty goes, I'm watching Lord of the Rings extended versions over the next couple of days. What an unreal trilogy. No weaknesses. I was just like, wow. And then Matt as a joke, he just goes, overrated. my friend Matt, who's like as big a fan as like anybody I've ever known about these movies, and he just goes, I'm joking. I'm just trying to start a fight. Those are my favorite movies ever. And then he holds up his sweatshirt and he's wearing a Sauron shirt.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was like, I'm wearing the shirt currently. I goes, no lie, I'm watching Return of the King as we speak. Finishing up Return of the King. And he's like, Austin just goes, what's crazy? I finished my rewatch last night. So the 4 of us had like all talked about it and watched it like in the same little time. But and a quick story about those guys. So I was living with Marty at the time and his brother Gabe, and Matt was living in College Station as well. They're all at Texas A&M, and I was there coaching basketball. And we'd watch these, we quote them and stuff like that. That's the thing. These movies are like endlessly quotable. Like, incredible, like how quotable they are, which we'll get to here in a second. But we were outside grilling like burgers, hot dogs, stuff like that. There's like 4 or 5 of us. And one of their roommates, Jordan, hadn't even been home. Like he wasn't even at their place, like had not heard any of this. We've been quoting Lord of the Rings for honestly 30 minutes, like just going back and forth, random stuff, trying to make it like topical with like what we were doing. Like we were grilling burgers. So someone was like, put it out, you fools, put it out, like, cause like the fire. So then Jordan, nothing has been said for a couple of minutes. Jordan gets home. He's like, rummaging through the kitchen. We hear him come out, and there's 4 of us out here grilling burgers. And Jordan just goes, "Hobbits, 4 hobbits." He had no idea that we've been doing. And we were like, "What?" He was like, "Why did you just quote that?" He goes, "I don't know, man." He's like, "I just thought it was necessary." He's like, "We've been doing that for like 30 minutes." And so it's just like it's kind of like on that whole group's like tongue, and it's like they hit all of us like at a perfect time, and are kind of ubiquitous like in that world. It's just it was hilarious, and so I thought it was so funny that Marty did that last night.
Yeah, timely. So yeah, really, really cool, and it's just always right there, like you said, tip of the tongue, because it's kind of like you're always ready to talk Lord of the Rings, and if you're one of us, like we find you very quickly, if you're one of those nerds that loves these movies.
Every time I like leave a room and for whatever reason and come back, I have said just instinctively, I come back to you now at the turn of the tide.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yes, so good.
Well, here's the thing. You watch the extended versions. It's about a 12-hour runtime, right? And there's so many different types of scenes that there's kind of like a quote for every part of your life. Like it's like there's like something to do with food. There's something to do with like travel or whatever. It's like, and then there's philosophical quotes and deep quotes and inspiring quotes. It's just like there's kind of something for everybody.
Yeah. Jeremy and I have always, and all 3 of us, we've always. I don't know what it is. There's like these little like one-liners or even like literally one-word sentence quotes.
It's like the out of context shit.
Yes. like from Mighty Ducks 2 when Goldberg is like, "Tonight?" we've always loved that. And then
Shutter Island, it's like this.
It's like a scan of something. and for Lord of the Rings, it's the Refill. It's not funny, but it is. It's fucking hilarious.
I mean, out of context, the quotes. I mean, even in context of like whatever conversation you're having, or how it relates to like why you're quoting it. Like it's like it's easy for me to slip into this thing like Lord of the Rings, or that's the goofiest fucking shit. Like all those like quotes and doing the voices and shit. But when I'm watching it, I'm like, fucking in, man. You know what I mean?
yes. Yeah.
Like, God damn it, these fucking movies, man.
Well, that's because, and that gets to the part that I'm sure we all need to discuss, but something the world building is just unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It's second to none. I mean, it really is remarkable.
Yeah, it's the best. Okay, great segue into my question that I was thinking about a question all day, and I was like, I want to have some fun. So, Connor, I want to start with you. If you had to live anywhere on the map, where would you live?
That is an interesting question.
Let's say we can even say post Lord of the Rings, like everything's been done. You don't have to be like, oh, I want to live in Rohan, but like it's totally fucked. You could be like living like the Rohan that's now delivered.
Okay, so I don't have to live in the Westfold before it fell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can if you want.
I want to live in the Westfold as it fell.
I want to be slaughtered by wild men under Saruman's control. That's the whole point. No. I mean, the Shire does look inviting.
Especially for a writer.
Yeah, a writer who's 5'9". I'm fucking Godzilla over there. I rule that place. Nobody can challenge me.
Just doing the music.
I was wondering I thought something was wrong with my equipment.
Set the mood.
Yeah. Do they, Gandalf?
But I think I'd get bored really quickly.
Yeah.
I gotta live somewhere with human-sized women.
Oh, human-sized women?
Yeah, that's gonna come up. I'm not gonna pursue Rosie Cotton. That's weird.
She had bows in her hair.
Cards on the table.
Oh man, so good.
I'd
probably set up shop in Bree.
Ooh, I like that.
Bree is where I essentially live now. Like I feel like, in correlation to like, I mean, Minas Tirith is like, like New York. I don't know, like Edoras is like Boston.
Too white. Yeah, Minas Tirith is too like white. I feel like I'd get annoyed by the lighting.
Mordor is Philly, right?
Bree, though, a lot of interesting things are always happening. There's never a dull moment in Bree. You got Rangers, you got your Ring Wraiths, you got your Hobbits, 4 of them, in fact.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea. I love that, some guy with a carrot who happens to be one of our most acclaimed directors can just pop up.
Yes.
It looks quaint, but also not dull. So Bree,
Yeah.
that's mine.
I think that's a good answer. Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, you said it's post.
I mean, you could pick whatever time frame you want,
Post destruction of the ring is.
No, it doesn't have to be. Yeah,
it doesn't have to be. No,
I don't know. I mean, like, if I live in the Shire, am I a hobbit?
I think you're like you come as you are.
Yeah.
They'll think
I don't think we'd be welcome in the Shire.
I don't know. I feel like
we're too tall and scary to live in the Shire.
I feel like it would be hilarious to be like one of the staff of Eyzaguirre when after Saruman turns, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like that would also suck, though. Like I'm just work here.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
guess
crazy.
This job was pushy till all those fucking orcs showed up.
I'll go with Edoras. I want to live in Edoras.
Yeah.
Rohan's capital. I love Rohan so much.
Me too. Yeah, Rohan's sick.
It's so fucking cool. Like, it's one of my favorite like fictional kingdoms or realms or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah, it seems like a cool place to live for the most part, right?
And it's a great answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if like Eowyn is like in charge, like, and everything's gravy. You feel like
Eowyn did not. Never mind.
Éomer is next in line. Let's be
yeah. There's a scene in the extended cut where Theoden's like, I want you to take over. But then she like meets Faramir, and then Aragorn gives Faramir and Eowyn Ithilien like as their like fiefdom or whatever. And then Éomer gets the throne of Rohan. But Éomer could be in charge. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've kind of been like, Éomer's kind of a dick, Like,
but
like women don't belong here,
Yeah, Carl Urban's fucking great.
He's the man.
Hell yeah, though. He's such a cool fucking character.
Yeah. He's awesome. Okay, so
dude, it's so cool.
Rohan for Jeremy.
All right, we
Edoras,
got Bree, Edoras.
Adam, where are you going, Adam? Yeah.
So I'll go. I guess probably in a more peaceful time. Rivendell. I mean, I don't know how you not.
Damn,
that's
going post ring. It's just you.
No, I'm saying I would not.
Fuck yeah, you're right.
Yes. No, it would have to be when it was pre all the madness.
Are you kidding me? That'd be kind of sick. He'd be like fucking Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. Let's go. Yeah,
gorgeous.
King of the elf realm now.
The serene, just the serene nature and just the like the wisdom, the knowledge that I would go there for sure, no question about it.
Do you feel like the one of the reasons why I wouldn't immediately pick like an elven city is like, I don't know, would I just feel like
I'd feel inadequate, no question.
Inadequate.
I feel like I'm imposing. Like they want me to leave, but they're too polite to say so.
This is like a master race that we're dealing with here. Yeah, it's like it is what it is. But I just mean the scenery. There's plenty I could learn from that kind. So
they do seem to like welcome like certain people. Yeah. Maybe the elves would be like, yeah, Adam, yeah, he's fine.
Hey, could I be an Aragorn? I don't know. But how about Faramir? I mean, it always like strikes me at the end of that when he ends up with Eowyn. It's like, but he's always kind of second choice. It's like that's not who she really wants to be with. But
yeah, true.
He's he's plan B. That's his lot in life.
He is.
Yeah, kind of sad. First to Boromir, second to Aragorn. Yeah.
They have arguments in the bedroom of their Ithilien estate. She's like, I know you just want me to be Aragorn.
You didn't even want me anyway.
Do you wish now
he insists
that I had died?
Speaking Elfish the whole time.
Aragorn had taken my place. I wish that much so.
Oh man, so good.
All right, what about you, Austin?
Well, to tackle the the other place that we've mentioned, but that the Shire. I definitely love the Shire. I think it look. I don't care if I'm the tallest one there. I think that'd be kind of cool because then they'd be like, you immediately are a person of interest. You know, you're a celeb in the Shire,
Yeah.
and a lot of the stuff that we hear about the Shire, the way they talk about it, some of it we don't even see. It sounds so fucking cool, and the way Sam talks about it, especially at the end when they're about to do the biggest part of the entire trilogy, entire story, him and Frodo. I mean, the way he talks about, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I want to go there. That's a great like Yelp review. The way he talks about the Shire and like what it means to him, and the food, the strawberries and the cream. I want to go there. I would love to even visit there for like an extended stay to maybe write a book. It looks like a great place to just kind of like lock in, focus, get some inspiration, and do something creative. So I would fucking love to go there, man.
Would the hobbits
got like
want you there? Would the hobbits want you there? Be like,
I don't know.
This big guy, like get him.
Yeah,
out
but
of here.
like Gandalf goes there all the time. Yeah,
Well, I think
Yeah, but look,
they're-
everyone's like
they
glaring
have
at
a
him.
problem with that guy, except the kids, like who are like, hell yeah.
yeah. Well, maybe I'm cool. Maybe I'm the cool guy. The guy.
You're like
I just
gotta-
without the fireworks. So what are you bringing to the table?
Maybe I'll bring traditional firecrackers with me.
I feel like the
know.
hobbits. I feel like the hobbits would love Willow.
Well,
Your
she
daughter.
she looks like a hobbit baby sometimes.
Well, she's
yeah.
a child. Oh, all right. Well, that's not what I'm saying. They'd just be like, oh, yes, your spirit, Willow.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
and then the butterflies flying around, and Willow's like, look.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Or
Maybe
like,
maybe you could start a human colony in the Shire.
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't think they'd like that.
Maybe-
Would they?
Well,
maybe-
post
War waiting to
ring
happen.
destruction, post ring destruction. Maybe people are a
Yeah.
little more accepting. Those goddamn elves are gone. Like we can all just be on the even keel. Like
Yeah.
those
Yeah, maybe.
those
Any of that shit was
goddamn elves.
Yeah.
I'm not
I mean,
racist, but I fucking hate elves. Goddamn elves.
There are two things I hate in this world: people are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the elves.
And the elves.
or I could just like none of us went like an evil route. Maybe I could just be like, oh, I want to be like
Mordor.
Jeremy said. Maybe someone like that works in Isengard or is like from Mordor. Maybe I like want to become an orc. Maybe I
we never meet a guy or any character in the show that's from Mordor that's like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of this. I'm gonna like join your
Oh
side.
yeah.
That
yeah.
doesnn happen in this.
Or
I
there's a guy
see.
that lives in Mordor, and he's like, everybody's leaving Mordor, man. It's fucking disgusting, dude. It's just like what? So what? Things have changed a little bit. Like what?
Property
Well, sorry,
value
they're
used
not
to mean
gentrifying
something in
every
this
corner of Mordor.
Yeah. Gentrify this, bitch. Yeah. There's homeless people everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, like it's a
It's a big fucking eye in the sky, never leaves us
Yeah.
alone.
yeah. Yeah, they're talking about on the top fucking floor of that tower. They want to build a McDonald's up there.
So I do think this gets into, like, we talk about these places and Rivendell and all these, the Shire. I actually gets into one of my criticisms of like the story in general, which obviously it's like masterfully written and like the characters are so unbelievably well drawn.
Here we go.
Well, this friend of mine. She's writing a book right now, and she's like working on, it's like a fantasy story. And she was like, when she first told me about it, she's like, I mean, I don't know. I was like, so like, what type of thing? It's like kind of a YA fantasy novel. And she was like, I mean, I hate to be like, it's a little bit like Lord of the Rings, but like, I mean, it's kind of like, it set the template for this whole thing, Lord of the Rings. So one thing I told her was like, I really hope you don't draw the map the way he did. It is one of the flaws that it's like, it's a little like British Isles centric, like
Oh yeah.
with the
Yeah.
Shire is like the Ireland, you like physically look at the map and it's always like this evil in the east, it's like these like nameless, and like the like army that comes in like on the elephants are like vaguely North African, like, but they're just like, oh, they're from the south or whatever. Like, I do think that part is a little bit like like, they would probably like go overboard and like trying to like note that to death now, and make it a little more like kind of just like pan, world, whatever. But it is a part that I'm like, that's a little like, he's clearly writing from his perspective, which is of, a guy from the British Isles. So
A long time ago. Yeah.
a long time ago. Yeah. So I'm like, okay,
World War
like,
One veteran, admittedly.
yeah. And so, yeah, I can kind of like, forgive that a little bit, but it is a little bit like, okay, like this is like a little racist, you know.
Yeah, I've always pointed it out. Yeah, yeah. I think it is obvious. So I'm
Well, and like
glad you brought
like
it up
let's
now.
call it what it is. Like the orcs' skin are dark, and it's like they're the evil ones. It's like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that kind of like, oh, okay, and like obviously the movie has like a severe lack of like diversity in it. Like
Oh yeah,
it's
extremely.
just,
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of white people. So yeah, that is like I think one of the major flaws of the whole thing.
Yeah, and why there's plenty of people that I know that are like, why would I watch that?
There's no entry point.
Yeah.
There's no entry point. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like Brianna thinks they're like just dumb, she just thinks they're dumb, and I can't take that away from her. I'm not going to be like, you're wrong, but I'm still going to lean I'm still going to lean into my love for it.
I understand why people don't like them. Like, I mean, because you have to remember that it's fantasy, and like fantasy is not for everybody. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, I also think that in a post like Game of Thrones sensation, that it's like it's this idea that fantasy can be for everybody because that was a fantasy story that appealed to so many people. Like everybody was fucking watching that shit. But like, it's the same thing. I mean, how things are different too. No, they're like comic book movies are for everybody. Like, I mean, this is nerd shit, dude. Like
big time.
But this was a precursor to. I think that the Lord of the Rings success is a precursor to the same way that Star Wars was for sci-fi. That like,
yeah, oh yeah,
that like so much more is possible in these super like niche like nerdy things, like can not only make a shitload of money but also like clean up like when it comes to critics and award ceremonies and shit. Yeah. Like, so I mean, it set a precedent, but again, like it's not for everybody. Like no, the length alone, is not for everybody.
It's daunting. And I see why people have a hard time getting into it if you didn't either grow up with it or maybe catch it at the right age. Like if you've never seen them and you're now 37, you're probably like, like I don't know, like I probably missed on that. It's like that's fine. I don't need to see that. Or if you're not into fantasy, I'm not really into fantasy though. But these have grabbed me in a big way. But even for me, like I didn't watch these and think like, oh, now I want to go discover other fantasy stuff. I'm like, this is probably the pinnacle of how this is going to be. I'm good with just like watching this and like that's enough for me. But
wait, well, you're ahead.
Yeah, it's like I know my own
not worth it.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good example. But I mean, there's Lord of the Rings, they walked, so Game of Thrones could run. I mean, that's
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
You hit that nail on the head there, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's going to continue to be that way. Yeah, that's a great. One of my favorite things about these is Jeremy brought up just the sheer amount of money. I mean, these three movies combined made $3 billion on a $280 million budget. Like,
which the budget, like that would be the budget of like an hour of these now. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
The budget was $280 million. Like that's unbelievable. Like
insane.
That's all three combined.
Yes.
Yeah, that's outrageous. I mean, today that would be
$300 million price tag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The Marvels recently, right? It was like $200 million movie. And it's like nothing. I mean, just no, that is like a shocking number.
Yeah, it's insane. And what my favorite stat, like as far as accolades go, for a proper trilogy, 30 total Oscar nominations, which is the most. It's right in front of the Godfather trilogy, which had 29, and 17 wins, including Return of the King, was nominated for 11 and won all 11. Just like
amazing.
Just boom, just clean sweep. Fellowship was nominated for the most, but didn't win the most. And Fellowship also saw Ian McKellen nominated for supporting actor, which is like. That's one of my main things with the Oscars. Like how are not more people nominated in these movies? Like,
he's the only one, right? That's the only.
Yeah, he's the only one. Yeah. It's like, dude, some of these people are putting in shifts, which is really why we're all here today, is to talk about the characters that we like have fallen in love with, and the best way to do that is to draft. We went back and forth a bunch about how we want to do this. This shouting out of multiple characters. We talked about doing like specific pools with categories and whatnot. We ultimately landed on a character draft free for all. You can pick whoever you want from that appears in one of the three movies, or all three, or two of them, whatever. We each get 6 characters. We're going to, of course, do a snake draft. as we always do when we get together for one of these. I randomized an order like right before we started recording, so I have that. But before I release the order, do we have any questions from the draftees?
No, I'm good.
Gollum and
Connor, good?
Smeagol. Gollum and Smeagol counts as still only counts as one.
Still only counts as one.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Is there any other characters like that?
Gandalf the Gray,
Gandalf,
Gandalf the White
yeah,
is the
Gandalf is
same.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can talk about stuff as we go, of course. We're gonna be drafting some amazing characters that we all love, so we're gonna be stealing from each other. That's the whole idea. And you're just trying to build a team of your favorite, your favorites. I feel like 6 is a good number. So 24 total characters will get picked. The draft order is Connor number 1.
Yes.
Austin 2, Adam 3, Jeremy 4. Jeremy will pick back to back on the turn, and we'll go back the other way. So I would like to take a short break before we get down and dirty. We'll be right back.
2, 1.
What's about second breakfast? Welcome back. We're going to start the draft. Connor, you're on the clock whenever you want to go.
Ooh. Yeah. You just
First
sat me
pick.
down at a buffet and said I eat for free.
Yeah.
Damn. Where do I even start? Pick of the litter. All right. Well, give me Boromir.
Oh.
Fuck.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Boromir.
That would have been my top.
Really?
As well. Oh hell yeah. That's my favorite
Oh.
character. Has been since I was fucking 9 or whatever. All right, go ahead, Connor. Why did you
let's
pick
hear it.
Boromir?
Let's hear it.
Boromir has one of the most satisfying and complete arcs in this whole franchise, and he's only technically in the first movie. We learn more about his desire for peace in Gondor and his complicated relationship with his brother and his father in the second movie, which puts his actions in the first movie very, in a completely different light. He really does want to help people. He wants to end this. He wants to do the right thing, but he's corrupted by pride. The ring senses that, grabs a hold of him. He hurts Frodo. And I love that moment where he's like, gets knocked with the wood. He kind of has a moment of like, oh my God, what have I done? He channels that into self-sacrifice and ultimately ends up protecting Merry and Pippin and, making peace with Aragorn. It's such an amazing run. And Sean Bean did such a fantastic job as this really kind of the quote unquote bad guy of the Fellowship, who you don't really trust from the get-go, but proves himself to be one of the noblest heroes in Middle Earth. Straight up. Yeah. I love Boromir.
Yeah. And has, to me, like one of the iconic quotes of "One does not simply walk into Mordor."
Yeah.
It's black gates.
Just memed into oblivion, man.
Yeah, it's one of the quotes, it's used for so many things, one does not simply walk into blank, and people use it all. But that whole quote, man, is fucking sick. Like, the great eye is ever watchful. It is a barren wasteland. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, it is. He's just like, man, you fucking morons. Like, you think we're just gonna go into Mordor? Like, I live there. I live right there.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about all of that, Sam and Frodo, they do just walk into Mordor.
Yeah. In the end,
they do. Indeed. It's a great pick. It's a great pick. Jeremy, this would have been your first pick.
Oh, no fucking question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's hear some of that love.
I mean, Connor hit it already. Like he's one of the few just like deeply flawed characters that has like this redemption. And I think like his kind of betrayal of the Fellowship, like his betrayal of Frodo is kind of like, I mean, this like Fellowship is like this odyssey that like just gets shattered with Gandalf's death. And I mean, that piece of that score when they're sitting on those like cliffs and that super high, that super high voice. And, I mean, Boromir's such a good fucking dude. Like that he is. And I like in the extended cuts that we get those scenes where he's like, we see that he's a good brother and he's kind of like, man, my dad's a fucking asshat. But like,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's such a good dude. Like but he's just like he fell, you know, to the ring. Like
Yeah.
Well, there's
it's
so
just a
much
testament to
pressure
its
on him.
power.
We learn,
Yeah,
you
from
know,
his
with his
fucking
from
asshole
Denethor
of a
being like,
dad.
you need to do this for Gondor. Just Boromir knowing that like so many people in his eye are going to die if he doesn't pull this off. If he doesn't bring the
Yeah.
ring back, and just knowing that that's all going through his head during the events of Fellowship, and it's all he's thinking about is I need the ring to save my people, and
Yeah.
how the ring plays on that. It's so
Yeah.
preys on it. It's very well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean go ahead.
But I think my favorite thing, y'all definitely going kind of talking about it, but my favorite thing is that he like when his death is so fucking sick from Lurtz. Like it is so cool. It's such a badass way to go. And then like the way he talks to Aragorn, like when he admits his wrongdoing. But you feel him through the next two movies, especially Return of the King, because we finally like we meet Denethor, we get more of Faramir, we understand more of kind of like what the background. He's kind of like Sonny Corleone, you know, he's kind of like he's still there, you know, even though he dies early, you still feel him through the whole trilogy, and that's power.
I don't know
Nice.
if I relate it. I don't know if I'd quite relate him to Sonny.
Well,
'Cause I
Sonny
think
is a piece of
Sonny's
shit.
kind
but,
of a piece of shit.
yes,
But-
no, I'm saying, but you feel
no, I
Sonny
get-
through
I
Godfather
get-
Part 2.
I get what you're saying, yeah. But like I mean there's so many like great scenes. I mean, there's like they have a cave troll and the like, you know,
Yeah.
the such a small thing and the one does not walk. There's so many great scenes he has, but like there's one that like I don't think really like resonated with me when I saw him as a kid that like on watches that when I've been older is when he's like with Gan he's talking to Aragorn and they're in Lothlorien and he's like, you know, the trumpets will sound, you know, and this piece of score comes in. It's like these like horns and like it's talking about like the, you know, the Lords of Gondor have returned, you know, like, but then there's this other scene late, like, you know, where Aragorn is like, we're not going anywhere fucking near Minas Tirith because he like knows that like Boromir, like he knows what Boromir's doing. Their relationship is so fraught with like so much fucked up shit, like, and then we get that beautiful scene in the end, like, which is maybe one of the best pieces of acting in the whole trilogy. That the my captain, you know, my king,
Yes.
like fucking
So
beautiful.
cool. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you keep mentioning the music, and I had to mention while we were off air there for a second. Howard Shore. Good God, you know,
Score.
Connor. I actually went back and listened to our old episode from Oscar Sunday. It was our 50th episode of Oscar Sunday, and we talked about the trilogy and gave awards out to each movie. Connor, you said, and I believe it's still true. Probably, you said your favorite thing about all three movies, like as a whole, is Howard Shore.
Yeah, that hasn't changed. Howard
Yeah.
Shore wrote maybe the most beautiful film score in history with these three movies. It belongs in a museum, frankly.
Definitely my
art.
favorite film score of all time, like no fucking question.
I mean, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I do it all the time. Like I hum it at work just for like no reason. You know,
I hear it whenever I'm not doing anything in rehearsals. I always play the fucking Shire theme, like, and then wait for someone to notice that I'm playing it, like, just the whatever instrument I have. It was a guitar or bass, like that.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah,
iconic. There's two things I go back and forth humming in my head, and it's, well, if it's not just like a song, you know, like just like whatever, it's some of the music from Curb Your Enthusiasm and the score of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
One of the Curb ones I love, and I do this honestly when I'm just like getting out of my car, like going into a restaurant. Is the
Chili's, yeah.
Yeah. I do it all the time. I whistle it constantly. And one day, somebody will be like, is that from Curb? And then him and I, or she and I, will be best friends after that. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. But it is not this day.
Yeah.
All right, so it's Austin or Adam next?
It's Adam. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm next. But Adam, do you have anything to say about Sean Bean's performance as Boromir?
It's his second best performance, minus his voice performance narrating the 1998 FIFA World Cup film. So
Yes.
I do love the Sean.
Yes.
really gets.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
No, he's unbelievable. He's the most human character, it feels like, the
Yeah.
most relatable, the one that like we can really see ourselves through. Also, his speaking style is almost like modern, compared to so many other people that they're doing this like these like kind of faux English accents and like speaking in this almost like thee and thou, terms at times. He just sounds like someone from a more modern time.
He's a city boy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's like sarcastic at times. So I think he's just like, way more relatable than many of the characters, and certainly like a Gandalf, figure as beloved as Gandalf is. I totally makes sense that he would not have been my number one pick, but it totally makes sense. And he was very high on my board, and it totally makes sense why you would pick him number one.
Yeah. He's great. I didn't think he'd go number one. I knew Jeremy. It was a possibility. I didn't quite know Connor was going to take him.
So Boromir's was the only sure thing for me. I have Boromir written down and then a bunch of other names that I'm not sure. I'll decide when I get there.
Second place. Yeah. I have two. There's two characters that are kind of tied for my favorite of the entire thing. Like two of the like main characters, and I'll kind of try to do some strategy here. Just maybe you guys won't pick him. Adam and Jeremy next. So I'll take Gandalf. To me, he's like Ian McKellen is like, he is like the godfather of this whole thing. He's like just this seasoned vet on screen, of course, as Gandalf, and then Ian McKellen. Everything I see about him, the way he kind of treated people, and the way he, was on set was just absolutely huge for what was going on here. But Gandalf, the character, I mean, I don't think I should even begin, quoting stuff because we'll be here all day. He's got some of the most fucking cool quotes because he does have. Adam was speaking about the kind of like the language, but he has to. He's a fucking wizard. And right from the get go, a wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. I mean, even when I was 9 or 10, I thought that was cool as shit. And now as I've gotten older, it just resonates more. Everything he does, from Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White, just fucking rules. And I'll just ramble because I love him so much. So I'll kind of open the floor to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, to just talk about like the legendarium, like Tolkien's legendarium of like how critical of a role Gandalf has, like that, like they're split up into ages, and Lord of the Rings, the story of Lord of the Rings like takes place in the third age. The first age is essentially like the Valar versus Morgoth, who was the original Dark Lord. Like the second age is like Galadriel versus Sauron. And the third age is essentially Gandalf versus Sauron. Like that's the matchup that we're watching, this war unfold. Like,
Yeah.
Gandalf the Istari, like the wizard, like who is like a Maiar, which is like a angel essentially, is like sent to Middle Earth to like combat the resurgence of Sauron. Like that's how critical of a role he is. But also when we see him, like he also just likes to smoke like pipes and he likes like fireworks and shit. Like he's such a fucking cool. He's based off of like Odin, like the Norse god. Like he's such a deep, like well constructed fucking character. And also he's just like hilarious. Ian McKellen is just putting in so much work.
Yeah.
Bringing this. Go ahead. I'm done.
Thank God Sean Connery said no.
Yeah, fucking A, man. Yeah, no kidding.
This is such a different movie. No, he is the most consistently great performer, I think, across the three movies. I think he's, if you had to give him like one award to the most consistent kind of great acting performance, I would give it to him.
Yeah, because he's so vital. And my I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I started writing a whole like new like movie diary on filmgazm.com because of a scene from Fellowship of the Ring. I've always loved it, but for whatever reason, I just sunk like, and it's his fight with the Balrog. It's the coolest thing I have ever seen in any movie. What he says, that you cannot pass. I'm a servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Anor. Like that whole like run, and then when he falls and you fly, you fools, and the music that plays, holy shit, it's so sad. And Merry and Pippin are, this is another reason why I love Boromir is because Merry and Pippin are like fucking just like weeping, and Frodo's like walking away, and Sam is like, oh my god. Legolas doesn't know what to do. He's just like staring into like, oh my god. And Aragorn's like, we have to go. Like we have to keep moving. Like this is gonna be covered with orcs soon. And Boromir's like, for pity's sake, give him a moment.
Give them a moment's reprieve.
Yeah, and he's like, no, like we gotta go, man. It's such a because Aragorn and Gandalf have this crazy connection where they're like, you and I know they're like, this ain't shit compared to what we're about to face this, the next few months. Like they both have this understanding that's really cool throughout the movies. Vigo and Ian, like when they're on screen together, you're like, god damn, like this is why these movies are so good. So they got the right people to do these certain jobs, from the Peter Jacksons, the Howard Shores, and the Andrew Lesnies to the Viggo Mortensens and Ian McKellens and Elijah Woods and Sean Astin. So I think Ian McKellen is perfect the whole way through. So Adam, I think you put it perfectly that he's the most consistent, just legit actor. So while it annoys me that he's the only one who got nominated for acting, it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. If you're going to pick one, he's the guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I love, the death of Gandalf the Grey is the death of hope. He was the one everyone could count on. He was the grandfather type. He couldn't be hurt. He couldn't be killed. He was Gandalf. With him gone, nobody knows what to do next. He was the one who knew the way to Mordor. Like they trusted him above all others. That's why it's so nice to see him again with Gandalf the White. Everyone's hope is back. Hope is alive. Reborn. And I like Gandalf the Grey a bit more than Gandalf the White. I think
Me too.
Gandalf the White is cool and powerful and awesome, but Gandalf the Grey is all of that, plus he likes fireworks.
Yeah.
All right, so I would
humanity.
disagree. I would disagree that there's really like that stark of a difference between their characters. I think the character design, the visual character design, like the costume and shit, wardrobe or whatever, Gandalf the Grey takes it by a mile. But I mean, there's a scene where like he takes Pippin to Minas Tirith, and they're sitting on that balcony, and he's just like smoking his pipe. He's like, and Pippin's like, well, like just talking, and he's like, what do you think? Blah blah blah, and he's just like, you're a servant of a steward now. He's still like sassy and like he's still got a sense of humor. Like it was interesting because we were talking about it the other day that you were talking about, I don't know how serious you were that they're two different characters. I've never really felt like there was that much of a division between the two. I don't know if that was the original goal of the story or like, but I've never interpreted it that way. Like he's still the same guy. He says that thing at one point and he's like, yes, Gandalf the Grey. That's what so maybe he is supposed to be two characters, but I've never interpreted it that way because he's still like kind of goofy and like a fucking badass. So he still has all those character beats. Like,
well,
never really. Go ahead.
He has that bit as they're going into it, when they're about to like actually talk to Denethor, when he's looking at Pippin and he does that thing where he's like, actually, it'd be better if you don't speak at all. It's so funny. It's such a great him and Pippin is such a fun little like kind of side quest. They're great. But Gandalf rules. We spent a lot of time on Boromir and Gandalf, so let's get to Adam's pick.
Okay, another guy we could possibly spend a lot of time on. Give me Aragorn.
Yeah, come on.
I mean,
Aragorn. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of screen time, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
authority is not given to you to deny the return of the king, Jeremy.
He is the engine of the story. I mean, he is kind of the guy that I mean, he's the almost like Christ-like figure, essentially
the chosen one. Yeah, he's like
one.
LeBron. He's like, all right, we're like waiting for you to like ascend, and then he ascends. Yeah,
LeBron. What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, that's probably an analogy only for Adam and I.
Why would you disagree with that? Why would you disagree with that so much, Jeremy?
I don't know. I guess I don't understand.
Because people call him
enough.
People call him King James, and they were like forever before he won a championship, like, take your throne, dude. And finally he's like, all right, fuck it, And Aragorn definitely has this reluctance at times. and then when like the moment arises, he meets.
Yep.
He meets you at the summit, and yeah, that's
Well,
think
I
a
don't
lot of-
know. I mean, I think that like the pomp surrounding like LeBron, and y'all understand who he is so much more. But like, I don't know, man. He's still just like a professional athlete who's like made mistakes in his career. I don't like. I see where the parallel, but it's also like I don't know. It just doesn't seem like.
Anyways,
I
continuing.
don't know. I guess
see it like this.
I just think it's dumb. I don't know. I'll
All
just
right.
leave it at that.
Cool.
Aragorn could be a great basketball player. LeBron could not be a Dunedain Ranger.
I mean,
There we
could
go.
Aragorn?
I don't know.
mean,
LeBron in the field, like that dude's 6'8". I don't think Aragorn's 6'8". Like I don't, and LeBron's like LeBron would be like a battering ram against some of these
damage. Yeah, there's some of these people. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I appreciate the comparison, but I mean let's maybe stray away from that to avoid any further.
Yeah.
It's
Cool of a took.
I mean, he's like in terms of just like kind of import, to the story. It's like it's like this is like the guy on the front of the movie poster. It's like this is kind of what it's all built around. And he's portrayed.
He's the heartthrob.
He's portrayed absolutely brilliantly by Viggo Mortensen. So that's my pick.
Yeah, he's the man. It's weird. It's weird. I was kind of looking at the ages of these people, like when these movies came out, when they filmed them. How old would you guess Viggo Mortensen was, like when Return of the King came out?
Oh man,
38,
32.
I'm gonna go 42.
45.
Wow.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, he's older than our dad, guys.
Well,
I had no idea.
Aragorn famously is 87, and so
yes.
a young looking guy.
He is one of the Dunedain, granted with long life.
And
I heard a
Viggo
silly thing the other day.
I love that Viggo was a last minute addition to the cast too. Like Stuart Townsend had and Peter Jackson was like eventually like, you're too young, and he kicked him out, and he needed somebody. He landed on Viggo, and he told Viggo, like, you have like 2 hours to make this decision. We need someone now. And Viggo's kids were like, you need to take this. And here we are.
I mean, yeah, thank God, right? He's fucking perfect in these movies, and also has. We've talked about guys who have great quotes. I mean, good heavens, when he does his speech, do you not just like? Are you not ready to fucking tear somebody apart?
I mean,
men of the West.
Yeah.
I never mind. I have one thing that like over the years like has slowly crept in and started to bother me about him, that there is a nasally tone to the voice that he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know you brought up Boromir's voice, and like it's something that happens when you spend a lot of time around a character that just like something just starts to bother you a little bit, and I mean it's greatly overshadowed by everything else that's so right about the performance and everything surrounding the performance, other performances in the film itself, but like something of note, I think.
I think it's the decision, like even during that big speech when he says, I see in your eyes the same fear. He does that kind of like, hey, that would take the heart of me. Like it's kind of like, huh? But yeah, it just fucking works, man. That whole thing is so fucking cool, man. But him stepping up to the moment is awesome.
Well, and the for Frodo, scene.
It's
man, that's kind of the biggest leap of faith they take in the whole thing. Is that bit at the end there, is like, oh, okay, like we really have no idea what this guy is. Like we are just gonna go for this, and let's hope for the best.
It's so cool, and like again, like a certainty of death. That like that quote from Gimli, like it really is. And the way he goes in after he says that, like everybody's way behind him, and he does this spin move.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like holy shit, this guy.
You know who's gotten really good at spin moves into finishes is
LeBron. Yeah. Oh, that's great. It'd be really cool is if one day we meet Viggo Mortensen and he's like, oh yeah, I mean, I watched LeBron highlights, when I
what do you like? went forward in time.
Oh, so it would have been in like ninth grade at the time.
Oh, so you do know about this LeBroneth James, Jeremy. Okay.
I have heard of this LeBron, this Ranger from the West.
Ranger from Akron. Aragorn's the man. He's one of the like first people you think about.
What's up? Most folks around here call him Strider.
Strider, yeah, which is such a cool name.
His first line, I love. Like, I can't remember exactly what it is, but when he just like busts into the room and he's like, I have seen many tricks. And he's like, but to disappear entirely, something like that.
Yeah.
That first scene, where it's just him in the hood with the pipe, great character introduction.
Oh yeah, super cool. Well, and then like one of my favorite quotes is to him from Elrond when Elrond's like, "Put aside the Ranger and become who you are born to be." Because it's cool. It is like, dude, like put down the facade, like because like Elrond's like, I know you, you're into Arwen, like put that shit aside, man. Like you're a fucking king, dude. And he rises to the occasion. So it's pretty sick. Jeremy, you have 2 picks in a row.
Monsieur Lozer. Yeah. So like Aragorn's speech is good. But there is a far superior speech shortly before that one. I'm going to go with Theoden King.
Damn it.
Of Rohan. Dude, the fucking Pelennor Field speech, man. Like, which just ends in him just yelling death over and over. Like, that's just so fucking rad. And then also, like I mean, that whole Pelennor Field sequence, and then like they're like winning, they like beat the orcs, and they're like, yeah, we did it. And then like from behind, like the Haradrim and the Mumakil start coming, and he's just like, fuck. But in that moment, he just starts saying, "Refire the lines!" Like, and then they're like, "All right, I guess we're just gonna, But I mean, speaking about Boromir being like this flawed character, like, we like Theoden also has like some of that in his story arc as well. Like, there's some like you can see there's kind of some like petty jealousy at first that he's kind of like, like Aragorn's not the king, like I'm the fucking king, and like we see him grow out of that, and like and it's when he says to Eowyn, or he says like it was not Theoden King that like led these people to victory, like, and he sees like in that moment of absolute just like despair when they're in Helm's Deep and like they're hiding in the throne room and they're like, we're all gonna fucking die, and Aragorn's like, one more time, man. He's like sees like who this guy Aragorn is, and he's like, we'll follow Aragorn to do anything he fucking says. Theoden also is one of the few characters that have like a really satisfying death scene. The I know your face scene, which is the first thing he says to Eowyn after the spell is lifted. Like, Theoden's just got such a deep, like, rich story arc, and just the loss of his like son in the beginning of the story. Like, we don't really ever see Theodred, like his son, speak or anything, but we're shown that he has died, and I don't, man, there's so much going on with Theoden.
Yeah.
And it's slowly like I go back and forth between my 2 favorite performances being Sean Bean or Bernard Hill. Like, Bernard Hill is just killing it, and he's not playing as large of a role as these other characters we've been talking about. But like, I mean, it wouldn't be the trilogy without the work that dude put in. Is what I feel.
Totally agree. He's great. And another great meme moment is so it begins.
Is this all you can conjure, Saruman?
Oh yeah, he's
got so
excellent.
many great lines.
Oh, and he
the
he
beacons
has that,
are lit, and he's like,
yes,
Rohan will answer.
Yeah, but he also has that really cool moment where he's like, well, where were they when we needed aid? Like he is also, he's also like
Gondor in the Westfold Belt.
Superhuman, and I don't know. Yeah, Theoden always. He's one that I probably didn't like resonate with as a kid very much, but yeah, now I'm like
definitely
Theoden fucking rules. Yeah, great pick. Yeah, you have another one if you want to continue.
I'm gonna do a Rohan 1-2 punch, man. Take
right, I like that. Nice.
I'm taking Eowyn. Eowyn's another one that grew on me like as I got older. One of y'all was talking about how thirsty she is, or one of y'all said something about how like you felt like her something about her story like didn't work.
It's me. I'm not crazy about her. I get it, but I'm not crazy about the her and Aragorn's like little thing. I don't know.
Their romance that was not to be.
Yes, I am but a shadow.
I really like Eowyn's story arc, and another one that like I said that has grown on me. Like I really liked Miranda Otto's performance. And,
no, she's good. Yeah.
Also, another one that's like quite a bit older than you would guess.
Really?
Oh.
Yep.
35.
What's 40? It's got to be in the 40s if he said that. 44.
You're trying to guess what she is right now?
Oh no, I'm guessing. I thought you were saying when the movie came out.
When the movie came out.
Yeah. Why would I guess? Why would I guess what she is right now?
Well,
why would I do that, Adam? Adam, why would I do that?
I don't know. Why do you do anything? 44.
Two Towers. I gotta pull it up real quick. But
you don't even know?
No, I didn't even know. I looked at it the other day, and I was surprised.
He's just guessing.
Yeah. No.
This one would probably be surprising too. But I mean, so you know, these films infamously have very little women in them.
Yeah.
The story in general has very little women, and it's just whatever. I don't give a shit. Have you ever seen that joke about it's the only time that two women ever talk? Yes. And it's that so there's this small character named Morwen, and she's the woman who's like, take the horse and get out of here. Yeah. And he's like, but Eowyn says he's too big for us, but it's them in the Hall of Edoras, and she says to Eowyn, she's like, where is mother? And she's like, shh. And it just goes like, that's it. That's the only time that two women converse.
So kind of fucked up, but it's kind of fucked up.
But yeah, I mean, and Eowyn, I mean, the other two women that are in this are these elven characters, Arwen and Galadriel, and like Eowyn has a much like meatier like story arc.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really like I like her role, and kind of like she's the one who brings down the fucking Witch King, and it's like,
oh yeah.
I love I just saw that I watched Return today, and just the scene where Mary's like, oh, I guess I can't go to war, and she like comes by and like picks him up, and and they're bond together, that they're two people who were told like, you can't fucking fight, like you're a fucking hobbit, you're a woman, like
because of something physical. Yeah.
And then she like kills a Mumakil by herself and kills the fucking Witch King.
Yeah.
That scene with, I didn't like that I was the last pick, because I knew I was not going to get Boromir, but then I was like, I can get these two people, and they're a good 1-2 punch, because they have some really great scenes together, man.
So she is right now. She is 56.
Well. So she's 36.
Yeah, 36 when the last one came out.
No, that's not surprising at all. I said 35.
I would have guessed.
You go younger than that? No, it looks like she was in her 30s.
Yeah,
my dumbass guessed 44.
We start with Eowyn like being kind of like meek and just like creeped out by Green Wormtongue, and then like by the end she's killing like she's killing a godlike being in the end of Return. She marries Faramir, as we were saying. She gets her own like little kingdom, like happily ever after. Man, she didn't get to get with Aragorn, but
no.
She knew all along. I can't compete with Arwen. Yeah,
she knew. No, I don't know. These movies definitely would not pass the Bechdel test. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You need women for that to happen.
You wouldn't even have the chance of that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of amazing, like how little like sex appeal is even in these movies. Well, because it's Tolkien, right? So
Tolkien is very sexless fantasy.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen, Ian McKellen, and Orlando Bloom. There is plenty of sex appeal in this movie.
Oh yeah, from like just a like, oh, look at this movie star, but actual like character on character action. No.
They don't. There's no time for sex. The world's ending.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think
there's always time.
Some might argue.
Time.
Some might argue that.
I'm sure there's a lot of fucking going on in Minas Tirith behind closed doors while the orcs are warming the city.
Well, yeah, you think the Rohirrim aren't, getting it on in the camp? It's like we're all gonna die soon, and it's like let's get some tavern wenches down here, or they're fucking each other. I'm sure there are plenty of gay Rohirrim.
Yeah,
some Rohirrim on Rohirrim.
Not Éomer. No way. No,
not Éomer. I'm not.
Not me. I'm not Caleb and
then Gamling's like, "What about our night together, Éomer?" He's like, "Shut up,
fuck you."
That wasn't gay. That was just physical. It wasn't gay. Not gay.
Okay, that'd be gay. I was pretending you're a woman.
Also in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna get picked or not, but the meta-ness of Flight of the Conchords characters doing like Lord of the Rings and having like multiple discussions in the show about Lord of the Rings, and the freaking Will Arnett character, Lord of the Rings,
Frodo.
Knowledge was New Zealand, but
man.
and then
don't wear the ring.
So in that,
it's very tempting.
That brings up so many like moral and like quandaries. Like, so in the universe of Flight of the Conchords, Lord of the Rings exists, but Brett was in Flight of the Conchords.
Yes,
just, like, struggling actor. So it's like, how did they swear that? That's just a bit of TV Hollywood magic. But anyway.
Wizardry. Yeah.
Okay, my pick. Give me Elrond.
Damn.
Yeah, just
nice.
Hugo Weaving is just. I mean, I texted that. Was that in the group with Marty and Matt Austin?
Yeah.
Elrond is just. I just said Elrond is just smooth as fuck. Like he's just like
yeah.
coolest, like this guy. Like just yeah.
The eyebrows, man.
The eyebrow, the eyebrow raise, and just I mean, he's lived forever. He's seen it all. Just an awesome guy, and played brilliantly by Hugo Weaving.
Oh yeah,
Hugo 3,000 years ago.
For Hugo to do Agent Smith in '99 and then turn around in Fellowship 2001 and be like, it's one of the coolest like turnarounds of an actor ever.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question: when you talk about how badass Hugo Weaving is, do you say Smith or Elrond first?
Elrond.
Smith.
I say Elrond first.
Yeah, Connor, my guy. Yeah, Smith for sure. He's like, I don't know. He like makes that movie.
We are the
Mr. Aragorn. Take up the right. Become what you were born to be. I think their lines work pretty well together, actually.
And he still does the eyebrow thing. Like,
I can't stand Middle Earth. It's the smell.
Yeah.
I feel suffocated by it.
Yeah. Why would I want to be mortal? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Hugo Weaving is great. Elrond. Elrond rules. He's amazing. And Hugo Weaving doesn't need to even like try that hard, but he's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna put in a nice little shift here.
Should have pushed Isildur into the volcano.
Oh yeah.
He should have. I mean, is he not the first named character that we see?
Elrond? No. We see Galadriel briefly.
Do we? Oh, we see her when she's talking about the rings, and so we see Sauron and Okay, never mind. God damn it!
Yeah,
and the Witch
Sauron,
King, and the Witch King. We
see
the Witch King before we see Elrond.
True.
Yeah, great stuff at the beginning. Fellowship, just like super cool.
That battle in the beginning of the
fucking so cool.
Battle of Gorgoroth, I think is what that's called. Whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just fucking rad though.
It is awesome.
Cast it into the fire.
No.
Great thing.
That's Elrond. Hugo's been a part of so many fucking like major things, like he's had his hand in so many things that are awesome and like live forever. So I'm not enough.
I love hearing him talk about specifically Megatron and Transformers, because when he was asked about that, he said, I don't really know. They handed me a check and I said my lines and that was it.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I love that so much. He doesn't give a fuck, just like I don't give a fuck about the Transformers.
We're the same. He doesn't care about Transformers.
Me
See,
and
right
Hugo.
there, that's something we can bond over if I ever run into it.
Yeah, like, hey man, that one interview where you said you didn't care, I relate to that. Yeah. What would you do if you ran into Hugo on the streets? Are you yelling like a quote at him, or what are you doing? What's your?
Oh, and I find that incredibly distasteful. I would just be
Oh
discreet
hell
and be like,
no,
"Hey,
dude.
I'm a huge fan," and maybe try to shake their hand.
I don't know, man. I'd probably try to
I'm not gonna
lure
be
him
like,
into.
Mr. Anderson, like from 10 feet away. I'm not gonna do that.
No, no, no. I'm not
Destroy
gonna,
it. Destroy it.
I mean, that's
no,
so much
no.
funnier. But
Yeah, I'm not going to try to quote him. I'm going to try to lure him into doing his own quote.
Oh, he would never. He's not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
like say
if
it.
I know Hugo, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, Hugo's cool, man.
I mean, realistically, I'd probably just be like, Alex, that's Hugo Weaving. And she'd be like, who's that? And I'd be like, Agent Smith? Elrond? That's probably what happened.
Red Skull.
And I wouldn't go up to him at all.
Yeah, no, yeah, I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. I'd probably try to get a picture with him. Yeah,
Be insane.
And then-
Yeah,
intimidated.
I don't ever do that. Yeah.
and
no.
in the picture, I would also do the eyebrow thing. Just to like match him. Oh, great
And then
pick.
somebody,
great
and
pick.
then you have Bree try to get to the picture, and then you say, "Well, Bree, it comes. I'm having a selfie with Hugo Weaving, and when I was invited, and you are not." And then see if he gets the quote.
Yeah,
Like, remember, Elrond? Remember when you said that?
and then like I the next time you guys see me, I like have like a black eye because Hugo Weaving knocked me out. Oh shit, yeah. Good stuff. Well, we've come back around. I get to take my other favorite character. My equal favorite character with Gandalf. I definitely wanted Elrond. I thought he'd last another round, but so good pick. But I get to take Smeagol. I mean, give me him all day. Smeagol slash Gollum. For me. Yeah, I mean he's one of the greatest cinematic characters of all time. I can't get enough of him. Like he's one of the reasons I like to rewatch these over and over is his arc, his story, the flashback at the beginning of Return of the King when you see Smeagol and you're like, oh, there's Andy Serkis, like full in the flesh, and the stuff Serkis is doing. We talked about Ian McKellen might be like the most consistent, and like Vigo's great, and Sean Bean's great in his stretches and Fellowship, and I mean, what Serkis is doing, literally no other person can do. So that's irreplaceable. And then it started this whole thing where now he's become the guy you go to for these movements, for King Kong or for Caesar and Planet of the Apes. Like he's the guy everyone goes to. He's just fucking incredible. And the character of Gollum, I mean, like freaked me out as a kid. Still kind of freaks me out now. Like it still gives me that sensation of like, oh, this guy's just so like dirty and so traumatized. I'm obsessed with him. I think he's fucking phenomenal, and I'm glad to have my two favorite characters in the whole franchise, a whole trilogy. Sorry, on my roster here.
That's fantastic.
We
And Gollum,
wept. We wept, precious.
Sauron's great, but to me, Gollum's the true villain of this whole trilogy. And Serkis to me is performing circles over everybody he works with in this trilogy. I'll always be upset with the Academy for never truly understanding what he does as performance.
Yep.
And I hope they can get over that shit someday. It's amazing. He basically brought, he put motion capture into the spotlight and started a whole new industry. And it's such a flawed, complex, evil, but incredibly sympathetic character.
Mm.
And I love it. Yeah, he's lights out. Smeagol and Gollum, whether you believe they're two identities or just one masquerading as the other identity. I love that, that camp. He's endlessly exciting to watch, and you're always, he's treated like he's an idiot, but he's the smartest person in this whole damn trilogy. He's constantly manipulating everybody around him for the sake of one thing, and that's getting that fucking ring back.
Yeah.
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 What a fan.
Well, the whole point of the whole thing, right, is this, to destroy this ring. And he's the character that gives you so much reason to believe that this thing will drive you absolutely fucking bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him. You know, you just
look at him.
you just look at the. And that's why, like, at the beginning of Return of the King, that scene is like so crucial when, you know, juicy fish. You know, he like bites into it like we likes it raw.
I love the ensnarement is instantaneous. There's no hesitation in Smeagol. The second he sees that ring, Smeagol is dead. It's amazing.
He literally does the like Deagle, you know, I wants it. It's my birthday. You know, like immediately, like you can hear that, like, oh. And the scene when he does the, you know, like starts kind of like almost like he's vomiting, like he's dry heaving and starts saying Gollum is like, God, it's such he's like built for the screen. You know, as much as like Lord of the Rings makes sense as a movie, as movies, he's like the most built for the screen character.
Saw that Andy Serkis
I bet you
noise
that...
off of his cat.
What?
Andy Serkis, he based the Gollum, like, you know, Gollum thing when he saw him doing a hairball.
Yeah, it's great. So cool.
I think that, like, before these came out, I bet you people were like, oh, they're the one thing they're gonna do really poorly is Gollum, you know, like, how could they ever do Gollum right? You know, I could see us saying something of that nature about some other adaptation, you know, like, and as a full CG character, like, it was motion captures used, but like, it still is not. There's other movies from that time period before, a little bit after as well, that like full CG characters are like, man, I can't take this fucking thing seriously.
Like Jar Jar Binks.
It looks like shit. Yeah, like Jar Jar Binks is a perfect fucking example.
It like looks really bad. Yeah.
Star Wars is chock full of the prequel trilogy is chock full of bad CG characters, but like,
yeah,
I mean, they kind of only had to make this one really like well done CG character, and they knocked it out of the fucking park. Like, I mean, I think we could have an entire episode just about Gollum, dude. Like, there's so much going on. Like, I mean, when you talk about like what they did to bring the character to life, what Andy Serkis did, and then just like the duality of his like of his two. Which I mean to touch on what you were talking about, Connor. I definitely think they are two separate identities. Like, I still consider it the same being. I do think they're two. Like, I think that not necessarily that this was the point, but like I interpreted it definitely as like it's two identities. Like, and one of them I think does go away. Like, he loses one of them, and like does like actually trust Frodo for a while. Like, I think there is a little bit of like, I mean, yeah, he just wants the fucking ring, but like, I think there's a piece for him, like, in just like kind of just like the task. You know, I mean, he's an addict, but he has this task. Yeah. He's just like, I just got to get these guys to this thing, and then I'm going to do that thing. But then, like, that Gollum creeps back in when he feels like Frodo, like, betrayed him, you know. And that's that great scene where Faramir's, like, has his men, like, beat the shit out of him. And then he's, like, leaning against that wall, and he's crying. And then in between the sobs, he's like, Smeagol. Yeah. He's like, no, what? Like, it's like, you know, and the way they do the two, like, where it's different shots of him to be like Gollum and Smeagol, like, I don't know, this shit is done so fucking well.
The end of Two Towers is so fucking cool because we just come off of this like insane Helm's Deep run, but then you're like, all right, I mean, ultimately we want to know, like, all this was for them, like, protecting, you know, themselves obviously and protecting these people, but also we gotta make sure like Frodo is like progressing with this ring, Frodo and Sam, and that ending where they're going through the woods is like, oh fuck, like, it's such a bleak, because like you hear him say, yes, we bring them to her, you know, you hear her and she, and you're like, who's she, like, who's her? And then of course we know, because we've watched them so many times, that it's Sheila, but you're like, I still remember just being like in amazement as a kid, like, what is he talking about? Like, where the hell is he taking these guys, you know? And then jumps out and it's like, come on, you know, we have to keep moving. It's fucking lights out scene. And I I could talk about Gollum all day, but like you said, Jeremy, we could do our own episode on that character and just kind of like what he means to fantasy, what he means to this story, and what Andy Serkis means in general to movies.
Yeah, and my last thing, I mean, obviously, yeah, we got to pick the pace up. This is gonna be like a 9-hour podcast. This is gonna be an extended.
Yeah, well, extended. Yeah.
As we get deeper in, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully, well, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Last thing on him, real quick. I think also the biggest thing for me in these movies, I think the Frodo and Sam stuff would be unbelievably boring without him.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that makes like a big difference to that whole plot line, because obviously we're jumping from plot line to plot line. The timelines are getting kind of mixed and stuff like that at different points in the movies. But I really do think, like, man, that'd be kind of a slog if it wasn't for his kind of introduction and importance to that part of the role.
Yeah.
Well, they'd still be wandering through the fucking rocks. They couldn't get their way. They couldn't get out of there without Gollum.
Yeah.
Just be Sam and his fucking rope.
Yeah.
His little
They'd be
quips.
so
One
pissed at
place
each
we're
other,
trying
like,
to
there's
get
the-
to.
We saw that
Place
rock
we
3
can't
days
get
ago,
to.
Frodo.
Frodo's like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, they probably just killed each other. Like,
Yeah.
Frodo's like, "I'm so fucking tired of you, Sam."
Boil him.
We're not
mash
going to
him.
find any goddamn roast chicken, Sam. Stop talking about it.
Oh man, I just miss all the food. Oh man.
tea time. Yeah. Oh man, yeah,
Right.
good stuff. Connor, you have 2 picks in a row.
Yep.
Nice. Give me Denethor, Steward of Gondor.
Yes, Denethor.
Tell
Okay,
me
you're
why
taking.
my son is dead.
Are you gonna go back to back and take Faramir here and just have the whole fam?
No, I don't want Faramir.
No one does.
Who does? Yeah, who does?
I kind of like Faramir. I think he's kind of cool.
Denethor is pure evil, but a very real evil that is different than like Saruman and Sauron. Like, he's this just broken father who is neglectful to his other son and completely avoiding all responsibility, to the point where so many people die because of his just retreating into himself. And he's so, living in his ivory tower atop this city, eating this giant sprawling feast, so messy and just gross. He's so vile. And John Noble's performance is so amazing. He's just this lights out theater actor who showed up in one movie to almost take it away from everybody. Yeah, Denethor is such a pig, and I just love the guy.
Yeah, he's great, and like with very limited screen time, he like just knocks it out of the park. So yeah, I love
line
that.
is ended.
Yeah, he's just freaking out. Yeah, the shot of him.
I love
the shot of him on fire jumping off is so fucking cool.
who passes Denethor, son of Ecthel. The look of like disdain when Gandalf finally snaps and just whacks him in the courtyard.
Yeah.
I just love the like fuck you, man. It's in his eyes.
Flee! Flee for your lives! That noise he makes with the initial whack. This is that, oh!
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah,
Gandalf just takes it to him.
Gandalf just just fucking whacks him.
No one stops Gandalf. No guards,
No,
nothing. They're all
no.
like, we get it.
Yeah, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Yeah.
Well, there's this one guy who does kind of seem like to be like the Denethor stan. Earlier, it's like Sauron's coming. It is Lord Denethor. He said, "Long as he foreseen this doom." And I found out that guy's name is Eorlas. He's the blonde guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about? The guy. And then he says something else later. Sleep not, but he has fallen. He says that. He's also the guy that tells Gandalf about, I don't know, but that's like the one guy we ever hear anyone say anything positive about Denethor. So I think it's
he's
safe
like
to say, like, the city of Minas Tirith and the Kingdom of Gondor in general, like, is Denethor maybe like a Trump-like figure? Like, everybody's just kind of like, yeah, he's a fucking jackass. He does have his, like, militant supporters, but,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, he's running the city into the ground, obviously. Like, he doesn't give a shit, like, to defend
Yeah.
the city. Like, he's just, like, my son's dead, you know?
Well, the real leader is about to show up and he's refusing to give up power. So I'd say, yeah, that's a pretty apt comparison there.
Yeah. 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 It's perfect.
Yeah, Denethor is Trump.
Yeah. Make Minas Tirith great again. Yeah.
Donald Thor Trump.
Oh my god.
See the presidency? The seat of the presidency is mine.
Mm.
No others.
God.
Huge.
All right, who's your other one, Con?
Huge.
All right. I'm gonna take me the Witch King of Angmar.
Oh man.
Nice. I did have him in my short list as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about him next.
That Nazgul leading Fell Beast riding son of a bitch is like like more than Sauron, like the closest we really get to the embodiment of pure evil in this series. His just the way like his blade like pierces the air, like he breaks Gandalf's staff. He's this just formidable pure darkness, and I love that kind of bad guy. Of course, he goes out like a bitch, but we can't win them all.
I mean, does he?
I mean, if I'm like the primordial darkness who is sent to lead the armies of the bigger primordial darkness, and I get stabbed in the back of the leg by a 2 foot tall man and collapse in pain, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta tell the other dead bad
hubris?
guys that a hobbit brought me to my knees. That's not good.
And then a woman stabbed me in the face. I would have been fine if that bitch wouldn't have stabbed me in the face.
If it wasn't for you meddling kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Witch King's badass.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
also the guy that stabs Frodo in the beginning.
Yeah.
But he
That's
just doesn't
why-
have his armor on yet.
I didn't
The
think Witch
ar- the
King
armor.
kill him. Like, why did he give
The
him a shot?
armor.
The armor looks badass, but like, why didn't the Witch King just kill Frodo? Why did he give him a shoulder stab? It's not like he needed to find the ring; it's right there.
I mean, I don't know if that like. I think that it's like the story goes, the narrative goes like it's like Frodo is stabbed, right? Like that's what's important. I actually think maybe like the way they did that in the film, like maybe they could have done that better. Like, unless there's a reason why they wanted to bring Frodo back for whatever reason. I mean, they don't need Frodo. Like
I don't see what a hobbit,
like you said,
is gonna bring to
the
table.
ring is literally right there. Like, and like he stabs him once, and he goes back to like stab him again, and then Aragorn jumps in to save him. Like, man, maybe they could have done it a bit more realistic way. Like, the goal was to kill him, right?
Kill
What
him,
else
take
would
the
he
ring.
be- What else? Yeah, kill him and take the ring. Unless he's like, unless we're finding out through talking right now that the Witch King is relatively incompetent.
I mean, yeah, what does he actually do besides fail to kill a hobbit and then get killed by another hobbit and a woman?
he kills Theoden.
Yeah.
The dragon.
Well,
kills
his
Theoden.
fell
True,
beast
true.
kills Theoden, I guess.
Yeah, that's if
Feast on his flesh.
The Witch King is really just a hype beast. Let's be honest.
yeah, he's there to be like, look how fucking awesome we are,
Yeah,
and then he just flies around looking more awesome. But when the chips are down, he doesn't even get one hit.
He's
a
stabbed
flawless
by
victory.
women and hobbits.
That's a TKO from Eowyn right there.
I forgot to talk about how Eowyn beheads that fucking dragon.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
He kills that dragon.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Pretty badass.
It's fucking sick, dude.
That whole stretch.
I'm not sure if this is going to come up again. I do want to talk about the stellar design of the Nazgul, but also the Fell Beasts, which is like the name of they're called Fell Beasts of Angmar. The dragons that they ride on, like they're so fucking cool looking, man. Like,
oh yeah,
they're like snake dragons.
The sounds, their roars and shit, and like the Nazgul screams, like everything surrounding the Nazgul is just like, I don't, dude. It's so fucking cool. The design of their armor. I mean, like the whole design direction of the entire film trilogy is like everything looks so fucking cool, and like Nazgul are no exception, man. Like, I think that
most of it's real. It's real costumes. It's real sets. Like they did use as little CGI as they possibly could, and you can tell. Like Helm's Deep, for instance, it's all stunt guys dressed as orcs in real armor that they made. No set of armor was the same. That's the
that's what I'm saying. Like why
exist in film.
That's why it looks so great. I'm not really talking about just the art. Like I'm talking about like the artistic like design of way the armor looks. Like when there's that scene where Gandalf's kind of just talking about the Witch King and he's putting on the gloves and they're scaled and like those gloves like are so cool, man.
Yeah. Can I get a pair?
Yeah, I'll wear them.
Yeah, to drive.
I
Yeah.
want
Can you imagine how
spiky
scary that would be?
helmet.
You want a spiky helmet?
I want a spiky darkness helmet. Yeah, I want a void right here.
Yeah,
and I want a
I
helmet.
want the void. I want the void. Like when I put a hood on, my face just becomes a void. And then there's no like shiny dark eyes in there because that's a really common thing is the hood with dark like red eyes, right? Like I see that in fantasy a lot. The decision to put no eyes in there, come on,
Beautiful.
fucking rad, dude.
Huge. Okay.
Those fucking
So-
we have Nazgul. We have the best Nazgul. What do you think about Trump in Middle Earth?
Yeah, I know. No, yeah,
It's
no,
hilarious.
just modern day politicians in Middle Earth.
All right, we gotta keep moving.
The
here.
best costumes. The best costumes.
Best guy. It's a J.R.R. Tolkien, I think his name was. Is that his name? That's his name.
Oh God. So Connor went Denethor, Witch King back to back there. Okay. Damn. I got shit. This is hard. There's so many like. I know these key players are going to get taken at some point, so it's kind of like when do I pounce on them? But I do. We've mentioned her a couple times. I want her, even though she's not in the movies a bunch. It's Galadriel, Kate Blanchett. Like super into the design of her and the lore behind her. She's definitely one of the ones I like to read about nowadays. Go back,
Dude. No,
yeah,
a fine choice.
Yeah, she's fucking amazing. And Kate Blanchett is like, she you know, she's supposed to be like this glowing figure in the movies, but Kate Blanchett feels like it's some of the best casting that they could possibly do. And we open with her voice, man. Like we hear she's the one talking about, like she's introducing us to what's going on. So like when you hear, you know, one ring to rule them all, like that's her voice ringing in your head. And of course, her scene with Frodo and Fellowship is just so fucking sick. It's such a Elijah Wood was 18 when they filmed the first in 1999 when they started filming these movies. Yeah, he was born in 1981. Just like crazy that he's able to even like think about going toe to toe with some of these people, and he tries with Kate Blanchett but fails. She's just so overpowering. Galadriel is, you know, when she's screaming at you and turns like that like aqua color is so fucking cool.
That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Oh, me too. It's still like grab, you know, it's scare me. But it grabs me,
man. It's really unnerving.
Yes, it's great stuff, and I feel like the story gets so real when that happens. You know, it gets very real for Frodo. It's kind of that moment of I've seen what happens. Like you have to do this. You know, like this is, you know, even the smallest person can change the course of the future. So, yeah, she's great. So I gotta have her on my team.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
she
You're going
she
for all G.
I am. Yeah, I thought about that.
she like has Kate Blanchett has this like does this like when we think about like the elves and like how like old they are, like, and how the way that they go about it in this film is they all kind of have this very like ethereal essence to them, and like the way they talk is a little bit higher, the way they like carry themselves is a little bit different. And Kate Blanchett, I think, does that the best out of any of them. She's been alive for like a really long time. I think she was born in like the first age, so that means like she's like 6,000 years old, and like has already fought. And like I said earlier, that like the second age is her versus Sauron, essentially. Like she's already fought like an entire 3,000-year war with fucking Sauron. Like,
Yeah.
and now she's just like still there, and Sauron's still fucking around. You know, she's also a member of this thing called the White Council, which is Saruman, who is like the head of that order, and then Galadriel, Elrond's a part of it, and there's other people that are a part of it. But Kate Blanchett nails just like just the way she would converse with someone like Frodo, and like
yeah.
I mean, in that opening narration, man, is fucking iconic, man.
Yeah, it's flawless. Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. I fucking love Kate Blanchett. I had no idea who I was like watching when I was like 9, 10, and now I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
man.
she might be the best actress that's ever fucking done this. You know, she's amazing. So yeah, I gotta go with her. We'll keep this thing moving. Adam, you're next.
Okay, I'm torn between two, but I think I might be able to get one of these later. So, I'm at the risk of just being the boring guy that's taking like the people off the poster, but give me Legolas.
Oh fuck yeah! Come on, the stars are veiled.
So yeah, like one of those characters that I think at like as a younger person, as a kid, it's like you really kind of like, oh yeah, sick, you know, like all the kills and all that stuff. But he actually has more like I mean, because he does have these just like really incredible. I mean,
well,
he's like
that moment when they're going against the like warg riders and he jumps like and like
yeah.
you're like, dude, yeah, come on,
Awesome.
it's so fucking cool.
And it's just like
awesome.
background. Some of he does crazy shit. It's just like in the background. It's like,
Yes.
what is he doing?
Yes. Yeah, he's just like ridiculously skilled. I mean, he's like the athlete of like the whole movie, you know. I mean, like he is like the coolest kind of like, you know, guy. But he actually has more kind of depth and more kind of like wisdom, I think, than people, you know, like
Oh yeah,
than on your first watch. Like now we've all seen these a million times. You're watching him closer, and he's like, oh man, he actually like really kind of saves the day a few times just with like his like intuition, you know, and his kind of like,
Yeah.
like just things like that. I think that there's a real value to him. I mean, like this whole task is like doesn't get done without him. So
100%.
yeah, so I'll go with Legolas.
Yeah, he does the. I love when you know Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn are, you know, let's hunt some orcs. You know, like those guys together is just like I could watch that all fucking day.
Yeah,
and you have two of them on your roster. Might be able to get the other one here in a little bit. And like when like Aragorn does like the tracking and he's like listening on the ground, and but he like looks to Legolas for the sight. I like love that moment when they're like working in tandem.
Yeah.
What do you hell I see? You
What
know,
do
like
I
he's
see?
looking
Yeah.
out. So fucking cool. Like the understanding that those two have, and when they grab each other's shoulders before Legolas like essentially introduces Arwen at the end of Return of the King. I mean, like brings just like the waterworks. I'm like, these two guys are so fucking cool. They've killed so many orcs. Like
they've seen it all. They've gone through hell.
Hell or high water, baby. They're well, I don't know. You and I think about like things with like sports, and they remind me of like a really good duo, like a sports duo that just like it has like a MJ and Scotty. Like we just get it. We just like it has to be done. So
If they're like if they're MJ and Scotty, who's Gimli?
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman for sure.
Yeah,
definitely Dennis Rodman. Yeah,
and Frodo is Steve Kerr. Yeah.
Wait, what? You lost me with Steve Kerr.
Frodo is Steve Kerr.
Now
Sam
Frodo,
is John Paxson. Yeah.
Sam is Judd Bushler.
Frodo.
Boromir is Luke Longley. Yeah.
Gandalf is Phil Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think their friendship and their mutual respect for each other. I also want to start like instead of shaking people's hands, just do the shoulder grab with now. Just like hey, just like the quick shoulder grab
because it's more than a handshake but less than a hug. You know, it's like
yes,
it's like a bromance thing. Like
their Aragorn and Legolas's relationship is fucking great. Like that a lot of what y'all are touching on. Like one of my favorite scenes with them is when Aragorn, like they wake up in the middle of the night, like they're in Rohan and Legolas is just like outside, like his eyes just like peeled open. I know the way they just talk to each other, like they're the operators, you know, like
they almost feel like they're like the adults in the room, you know. Like, yeah, it really does.
And the fact that Legolas sees him that way, because Legolas is also old as shit. Like Legolas has been alive for a really long time,
right?
And that Legolas is like, all right, this guy's the real shit, you know. He's a bad motherfucker. Like,
I wish they talked like that. You're a bad man. You know?
So it's just like Legolas at the party in Rohan, like just like getting drunk and talking to Rohan people, and he's like, dude, you don't understand. I've been with Aragorn for years, man. Like we're fucking boys.
Man. Yeah, dude.
Aragorn's the man.
Aragorn's first step. Fucking sick. Oh man, yeah, yeah. Connor, what's your say on Legolas? I don't think you and I have ever really had a conversation about our admiration for him.
I like that, he's the elven representation for the Fellowship, and he goes
Mm,
in pretty much expecting to just, I think, be a bit of an escort. I don't think he
yeah.
expected to be, get tight with anybody. The friendship that blossoms between him and Gimli is one of my favorite things about these movies.
So cool.
Like when they meet Éomer and Éomer threatens to kill Gimli, Legolas is immediately like, "Don't, you'll be dead before your stroke fell." It's like, and Gimli's even like, "Whoa,
Whoa.
hey, didn't know we were that close, Legolas." But yeah, I think he's a badass.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
when he takes down the Timothy Olyphant, I love that.
Yeah.
Timothy Olyphant.
And, yeah, he's just a cool badass who knows what's at stake, recognizes what needs to be done, and doesn't let his friends down. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's awesome.
Just like,
chill
just
dude.
like down for whatever. Just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
But the
let's
thing-
rock
I
and
mean,
roll, baby.
He
Yeah.
starts out like it's an interesting thing we were brought up like that, like some of this, like a lot of Lord of the Rings, like it comes off as like racist or just bigoted or whatever the fuck, but like really at its core, like not at its core maybe, but like a core part of the Lord of the Rings story is like Gimli and Legolas's relationship, and they're one of the very few like dwarf and elf relationships, and that was very much an allegory, like an anti-racist allegory, like that those two peoples hate each other in Arda, Middle Earth, like the Tolkien mythos, but that they were able to become such close friends. Is very, it's very much like Tolkien's actual feelings on racism. Obviously, he didn't set out to write like. There are some people that do think there are passages where he's like, "Oh, this guy's racist," but like he didn't set out to like, demonize the Easterners. It's just that's the world he grew up in. Like y'all were
Yeah.
saying earlier, but yeah, I think it is important to note that like the relationship between Gimli and Legolas is a very, very much like his actual feelings on racism.
Prejudice. Yeah. No,
Prejudice more so than racism, but like
I
racism.
totally agree. I totally agree. It's like two guys from separate parts of Europe or whatever that, yeah, they just do not get along. But yeah, their bond is fucking sick. So I feel like Gimli's gonna go soon. Fuck. Jeremy, you have 2 picks in a row.
Gimli.
Yeah.
I'll take Gimli. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on, he's great.
Gimli was one of my favorite
Let's
characters.
go find some food.
Gimli was one of my favorite characters when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
I still love Gimli. I was talking to one of my friends who's like a huge Lord of the Rings nerd, but like is more so into the books, and was talking to me about how there are a lot of book fans who don't like Gimli's portrayal, John Rhys Davies' portrayal of Gimli, because he's more like comic relief in the movies, apparently, I guess. I don't know. But like there are a lot of comic relief moments, but Gimli still like fills that role of like this stout heart and this fucking badass who's just like, yeah, whatever, let's fucking do it, and again, yeah, his relationship, like I like one of the things I love about Two Towers specifically is like you were talking about, Austin, the Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli hanging out, and it's just like the bro time, it's just the bro down.
Yeah.
It's the bro down movie. There's a lot of bro stuff happening, and like one of my favorite Gimli scenes is like, in Fellowship, he's like, never toss a dwarf, and then like then he almost dies, and like you remember this scene. Then
it's in the movie.
In Two Towers, they're like looking at that like causeway, that like ramp up to the door, and Gimli's like, let's fucking go, dude. And Aragorn's like, it's a long way. And then he like tells him, you have to toss me. And then he's like, don't tell the elf.
Don't tell the elf. Yeah, it's a great line.
Aragorn's like, not a word. Like, and that's just like, I love all those bro moments between the three of them. No, like early Gimli and Legolas standing on the wall at Helm's Deep, you know, and he's like, "What's happening?" You know, because he's too short to see over.
Could we have picked a better spot?
And Legolas is like, "Shall I describe it to you?
Or should I
Shall I
get you a
find you a
box?
box?" And then Gimli just looks at him for a second, and he's like,
Yeah, come on, bring him on. Yeah, Gimli's like just feeds off of fucking fighting. He just loves killing some orcs.
"Yeah," but
He
he's
also has
also.
Go ahead.
I wonder if we're
Oh,
about to say
we
the
might be
same
saying the
thing.
same thing.
He's also like a voice of reason. Was that what you were gonna say?
Yeah, when he's like, these are not just orcs. You know, he's a Urukai.
Yeah.
Their armor
Their
is
armor
very
is
strong.
thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is no what he says. This is no rabble of mindless orcs. These are Urukai.
Yeah, such a cool line.
Like, and then there's like, where he's just played off to be this fucking moron. Like, and he's like, you know, I'm the fucking baddest motherfucker in this whole forest. Like, I hear everything. And then like he just looks forward and there's an arrow in his fucking face, and he's like, oh.
The dwarf breathed so loudly we could have shot him in the dark.
Yeah. Fucking Haldir, man.
Yeah. Haldir's
yeah,
great. Yeah.
Gimli. Well, yeah, he also has one of the great lines. Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
I do love Gimli's dramatic scene in Moria where he learns that everyone he ever loved is dead.
Yeah,
that's
fucking
brutal.
That's a big moment for Gimli, and he plays that so well. Just the despair in his voice, and then the rage. There is but one dwarf in Moria that still draws breath. Like,
I can't believe we haven't talked about
so
that.
Cool.
That scene has not come up yet, man. Because like,
yeah, the Mines of Moria is like
Moria.
God,
Yeah, we haven't talked about Moria at all. That's why
the Mines of Moria. Yeah,
but and also like the first thing we see Gimli do is like, love how the ring just like means nothing to him. Like he's like, all right, we've got to get rid of this ring, guys. And he's like, all right, fuck this. Like he just tries to smash it. Like
he's the only character in the entire franchise who actively tried to destroy the ring. It failed miserably, but he's the only one who actually made the effort to destroy it.
Well, I would argue that Frodo and Sam, I mean, while at the end Frodo faltered, but like, I mean, he went a long way.
They did the hike, but when the moment came to destroy it, Frodo was like, "Nope, I'm putting this in my pocket." And then
he was
Gollum
no better than Isildur.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
Gimli.
Okay, I've got another one then. Right?
Yeah, Gimli was your third pick. You have one more. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know where to go from here though.
Yeah, it's getting dicey now. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Durin's Bane.
Oh,
it's the name of the Balrog that
pick.
That Gandalf fights. Yeah, they never call him this, but his like canonical name is Durin's Bane. Durin was a dwarf king that he killed, but Durin also felled him at the same time during the siege of Khazad-dûm or Moria. That's why Durin is down there. So he never killed him, and like so this guy Morgoth who came before Sauron had like whole like forces of Balrog, had like several Balrogs. And this is one of the last living Balrogs. And he is just like sleeping in Moria until all the commotion wakes him up. And I love like all there's like that, there's that bit where Saruman and Gandalf are having a conversation. And Saruman's like, you know of whom I speak. And there's so much talking about this. Who's like, I mean, honestly, it's not much of a character. I don't know if this is kind of a dumb pick or just like,
this is
like
pick.
A unfair or not unfair. Like I can't think of the fucking word I'm trying to think of. But then when you see the Balrog, like, and that fucking score hits that climax, and that Balrog still looks so fucking great, man. Like,
oh yeah
20 years later, it's still, that whole scene just still hits just as hard as it did the first time I saw it. Whenever I think about Lord of the Rings, like, and I just like want to watch like a little bit of it, like on my phone, which I don't do with anything. I don't just like watch pieces of movies on my phone, like, but I'll put on the Balrog scene and just watch that. It's also like probably. I was thinking about this when I was watching Two Towers the other day. I think that's the best sequel opening of all time.
Yeah, dude.
The
so
shot of the mountains, and you slowly are catching that audio of Gandalf just kind of like, and then it cuts back in. We're back into that scene, like that tragic scene, and then we see what happens after. But then it like, is it actually just Frodo's dream? Is that actually what happened? Like, like, and then like the actual like parameters of how the rest of their fight went, like, and that these are two fucking like titans, from another era, like meeting in combat. Yeah, the design is so fucking cool. There's supposedly a lot of like controversy about whether or not the Balrog is supposed to have wings, but I think, having seen the film, I think that the wings are fucking badass. They just look cool as fuck. So I'm good with the wings. That fire sword, fire whip, man. That's like
the whip.
Man.
Oh, yeah, whip's so
coolest fucking monsters I've ever seen on screen.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's also my favorite scene of the whole trilogy. So I think it's a cool pick.
Yeah, I do.
All right, is he a character? I guess is what I was saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's a specific. It's not the Balrog. It's a Balrog, but it's still the Balrog
With
that we
a
see.
name.
So
He's got a name. He's sentient.
He's sentient. Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah, same as like the Witch
Adam.
King. I mean,
Adam again.
Yeah.
Witch King. Has like Witch King talks and shit though. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, but yeah. No, it's a good pick, man. Just fucking accept it.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I'm sorry.
All right, so I will go with another one that's almost like for the performance just as much as the character itself. But give me Éomer.
Oh yeah, we've beat around the bush enough.
We have.
Cal.
Trust a hope in these lands. What does he say? I don't know.
No, I mean, great lines. I mean, he's a key, plays a key role in obviously the different battles that take place once we kind of get to him and his introduction. I mean, yeah, he honestly played a bigger role than I like remembered too. It's like I think last time I did all three of these in a row was kind of during the pandemic, and I was like, oh yeah, he's like got more going on than I even remember. I remember thinking like, oh, Carl Urban, like I wonder if he shot this or one of the Bourne movies first, but it's like no, this was definitely this is a big role for him. And yeah, I mean, just another like kind of cool character that adds to my little team here.
Yeah, Carl Urban's awesome. Yeah, and he's like, I don't know, he's really cool. I love when he kind of is talking to Aragorn or whatever, and he's like, yes, and Theoden doesn't even recognize his own kid. He has this chip on his shoulder right away, and it doesn't really ever go away. Like he's just a bro.
When he threatens Grima Wormtongue.
Oh, dude, yeah, Grima's great.
Yeah, he's got a sharp tongue. He can be pretty biting.
Oh yeah, no, Carl Urban is really good at that. I mean, yeah, we've seen now a full resume of pretty strong characters. And he's been a part of a lot of cool shit. So yeah, I love that pick. I know Éomer is. I know Carl Urban is someone Connor likes a lot as well.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I was watching this. All I was thinking, like, I just had a ticker tape going in my head, like Dread, The Boys, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Like, he's in so much fucking awesome shit that I like, and yeah, he's fantastic in this as just the guy who's kind of got to hold it together because no one else is.
Yeah,
I think he's at his heart. I think he's terrified of what's going to happen. He like when he finds Éowyn on the battlefield in the extended cut of King and thinks she's dead. That facade falls and he freaks the fuck out.
Yeah. It's really.
I love that's one of my favorite bits of the whole trilogy because like finally there's the man inside the armor.
Yeah,
and I think he's gonna be a great king.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah,
good king.
Hell,
like when he shows up, like I think he just says "not alone." Like, when Gandalf is at the top of that hill and he's like, I don't remember. I don't remember that. I think he says like to the camp or something. I can't tell what he's saying.
Yeah, God, he's great. Damn, I'm up next, and I'm struggling here. The board is getting the board is set. Pieces are moving. Give me Arwen. Yeah, I want Arwen. Yeah, I want Arwen. Fun fact: one of our great friends, really, me, Jeremy, and Adam, Grant Granado. His cat's name is Arwen, and I've always thought that's really funny because the other cat's name is Padfoot. It's like a shout out to Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. So I always like those cats more than other cats because of their names. Fun fact. No, Arwen has one of my favorite quotes of the whole franchise trilogy. I keep saying franchise trilogy. Well, I guess it still is franchise because definitely better than the Hobbit quotes.
I think you can call them either one, Austin.
Yeah, it's when she says, if you want him, come and claim him. It's a great line reading. Liv Tyler, I don't know. I feel like I haven't loved a lot of stuff in her career, but I really, really like what she's doing as Arwen, and I love the romantic side of Lord of the Rings is obviously Arwen and Aragorn, and some of the sweetest, most tender moments are between them. And as I've gotten older, we've said it a few times, but you do really like these movies grow with you, I guess, as your emotions get deeper and you have more of them. Man, the stakes are fucking high, man, for Arwen and Aragorn. The fact that she has to choose between, being, immortal and living over here and taking this journey and never seeing the person she loves ever again. And then there's that vision that Elrond has, her dad, of their child is oh my God, it's like a fucking, mind fuck. And so the stuff that they have to deal with, and them coming back together at the end is fucking sweet, dude, and I don't think I appreciated that enough as a young child, a young boy who didn't appreciate romance enough. So I wouldn't have picked her 10 years ago in a draft like this, but I'm certainly excited to have her on my roster now.
Two things. We can't delay.
One, I know a human Arwen who is named after this character because her dad was a huge Tolkien fan.
That's funny. I know an Eowyn who's named after Eowyn.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Eowyn's a way better name, I think. Actually,
I like both. I think
it kind of rolls a little bit better when you say Arwen and you hit that R hard. But the way Elrond says it sounds great, like Arwen. Arwen.
But if you named your kid Galadriel, that is like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
It's a little long.
My number one, when I have kids, I'm gonna have a Boromir. That's gonna happen. I'm just kidding.
Dude, Boromir's a rad fucking name. You know what's also a rad name? Sauron.
It is.
Yeah.
Sauron Johnson.
I mean, I think Elrond Johnson sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Elrond Johnson.
Elrond Johnson sounds like a 70s basketball player.
Elrond just makes me think of L. Ron Hubbard, and I can't move on from that.
Oh God, yeah.
I think of Elrond, the character, first. Then I think, oh yeah, that is that other guy.
So Arwen she massacres the Nazgul with that river spell.
Dude,
makes me think she probably should have been on the Fellowship. I would have brought her.
Well, so that's another person in the books. They kind of spiced her role up, which I've always kind of thought okay, she's not around for the other shit. That's the reason why she's not a part of any of the combat scenarios later on. I mean, she's a very gifted mage. One of the very few actual spells that we see.
Yeah.
The whole time. There's a thing about the structure of Tolkien magic that they can't be too showy with it because it will attract unwanted attention from the dark forces. But I also was kind of well, if they were gonna change it to where Arwen does that instead of this other guy who I can't remember I think it's Fingol or something. Is an elf named that or something? I don't remember. Who cares? But If they were gonna like change Arwen and have her do that part, like why not? Throw her in more of the movie? Because that shit was fucking rad. Like
Oh,
the
so
whole
cool.
writing sequence and like the makeup on like Frodo as he's just like like
Yeah.
that sequence is awesome.
If I'm Frodo and I'm, picking my team to help me get to Mordor to defeat the, ancient evil, I'm gonna pick the elf witch who just fought off 9 ring wraiths.
Yeah, maybe it was
Yeah.
the sexual tension that nobody wanted. Gimli was like,
We
"She's
still
not
get-
coming." Aragorn.
We still get the sexual tension. We get so much sexual tension with even
But I mean,
with them
on the road,
miles
it would be
away.
on the road. It's on the road.
I mean,
Sexual
Aragorn.
tension
I
on the
don't
road.
get your
Apparently-
point.
Apparently, Aragorn just like walking in a room, it gives like whatever woman he comes across. Yeah. Just
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh,
I
man,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, he comes
45-year-old.
across. I mean, he comes across like 3 women, and 2 of them are into him.
That's half Aragorn, half Viggo Mortensen, frankly.
It's quite a hit rate. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if Galadriel was like, if I was 4,000 years younger,
Well,
Aragorn.
Well, like when when we think, he fail, like when we think he's gone, but then he shows back up and the way he opens the doors turns me on. So, I mean, this,
Yeah.
his hair's kind of shaking.
The hair
You're like,
shaking,
oh, man,
yeah.
I don't quite know what it's doing for me, but it's doing something.
I feel tingly.
Aragorn.
The effects.
Yeah.
All right. So Connor has 2 in a row here.
2 in a row. Yep.
Bro, give me Grima Wormtongue.
I had a feeling.
Why ladies' troubles on an already troubled mind?
How does fire undo snow?
Brad Dourif is way too good in this.
He's phenomenal.
Why trouble already troubled mind? He is putting in work every time he slinks onto the screen. I'm just like, God.
It's a lot.
I feel like I've known people like that in my life. Like every time they're around, you're just like, you're in the room again.
The
He's
greasy
like,
sneaker. We've all known one.
No, but Connor,
But
speak
I
up.
love that,
yeah,
fucking-
go ahead, Connor.
fucking Chucky wanders onto this set and is like holding his own amongst some titans. And I don't think he gets enough credit. Brad Dourif.
No, he does not, man. This all you need to watch is this, Cuckoo's Nest and Exorcist 3, and like you got the sign of a wonderful actor. He's so good.
Yeah. I'll throw in the X-Files episode Beyond the Sea as well. Luther Lee
love
Bond,
that.
underrated
Good
character, amazing performance. Okay, Grima, and then I'm gonna go ahead and also snag Saruman the White.
Oh, damn it.
it's Saruman.
Christopher Lee, dude. Jesus Christ.
Christopher fucking Lee, one of the most interesting human beings who ever lived. The inspiration for James Bond, heavy metal singer, British assassin, like Saruman, Count Dooku, Dracula. The guy was he was amazing.
Duke and Dracula.
I like the character.
Well, he's
Name.
There are these people. Like when you were talking about was fucking Carl Urban, like these people who are just like do a ton of these like iconic nerd roles, like Ian McKellen doing like Magneto and Gandalf. Christopher Lee might be like the king of that.
Yeah, he was the only member of the cast who actually met Tolkien and got his approval to play Gandalf if they ever made a movie.
Ooh.
I didn't know that.
Pretty sweet. Yeah, but when the movie came around, Gandalf was taken, so he's like, "I'll just play Sauron." And
I guess I'll just play a dumb old Saruman or whatever.
Listening to this guy talk about the craft, like he loved making movies, he loved performing, and he saw this as one of the proudest moments of his career was being in a Tolkien film, and he does play. I love that he's supposed to be the purest good on this earth, but he was corrupted by darkness and has fell victim to the evils of industry and is creating his own army, and it's so sad, but he plays it so fucking sadistically that you despise him. I love Saruman. He just, the first time we see him, he fucks up Gandalf, who's our grandpa on this journey, and he's he makes Grandpa bleed. Fuck. Yeah, I love Saruman, and I love Christopher Lee.
Yeah, Saruman rules. Yeah, that when they're talking and Gandalf doesn't quite know, they're just kind of like just a couple of wizards hanging out is so cool. Just a couple of guys who have seen it all. Yeah, I love his work, especially in Fellowship.
When did Saruman the Wise abandon reason for bad
madness?
That's all it takes.
Oh, so good.
That exchange when he gets to Isengard, like, and there's this thing they do a lot that I think they did really well. That like Saruman's like is able to project his voice like long distances, and so like it goes from him like basically narrating a scene to his actual dialogue with Gandalf. And like, so he's like, the hour is late, blah, blah, blah. And then Gandalf shows up and he's like, for that is not why you have come. Like, and for the viewer, it's like, we think it's narration, but then it's like, it's actually just his dialogue. Like, is he like speaking to Gandalf in his mind or something? And then later, he's like casting spells on the mountains, and you like, they're in that snowy mountain pass. And like, you can hear just like, and Gandalf's like, it's Saruman. So his voice is just able to carry across. Like they do that so well. But I do want to ask y'all, like, the first time you saw this, do you remember if you knew right away that he was evil?
Yeah, I mean,
like he just looks a little more evil than Gandalf.
Yeah.
His staff is like pointy and shit. I mean, Isengard, like Orthanc, looks like this is an evil guy lives here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it definitely looks like an evil palace.
This is an evil lair,
especially when we
Orthanc with all the trees looks a little bit more inviting.
Yeah. With the trees there, yeah.
But we spend time in the Shire, which is like the most like down home place,
idyllic, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
if I take one more step, it'll be the furthest I've ever been.
And then we go there, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is definitely like a little bit.
Let's get a little darker,
Yeah. So,
I didn't see that.
That is not why you have come.
When I was a kid, I guess I was hopeful, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna help them." And then he turns, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I don't have a lot of hope anymore. So now if I saw it now, I'd be like, "Oh, he's
elected the way of pain."
Well, yeah, and now that you know who Christopher Lee is, you're just like, yeah, chances are he's
track record's not great.
Yeah. But yeah, as a child, there's that chance of fooling you. Okay, you took a couple of dogs there, Grima and
Connor's
Saruman.
gone pretty much all evil.
You have all villains except for Boromir. Boromir's also a villain.
Let's say, yeah.
Boromir is kind of he's conflicting character. Well, I'm gonna take a villain because I've done Gandalf, Gollum, Galadriel, Arwen. Hey, I want to have a good balance here of good and evil. I'm gonna take my favorite orc. That'd be Gothmog. The time of the orcs has come. I love Gothmog.
Look like Truman Capote.
Yeah. He looks like a pig. Yeah, but like,
what was it? You ever heard the thing that he's supposed to be fucking Harvey Weinstein? Have you ever heard that before?
I have, yeah, because the Weinsteins,
they wanted to make the movie, but he was like, nah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Gothmog. I think he's fucking awesome. I love when like that first like catapult comes their way and it crushes all these orcs, and the other ones are like, oh, and he's like, stay where you are.
Yeah.
It's he's so fucking.
But then, like, as the boulder's coming down, he just moves out of the way.
Yeah,
and he's just like, ah.
Yeah,
and then he spits on it.
He spits and he does like the fear. City is rank with it. Yeah, he's awesome. I like a lot of the orcs. I wanted to have one of them, pick one to talk about. He's probably my favorite, like, individual. He's like, lieutenant level orc. So I wanted to get one that like has a proper name. And I just think the orcs, like, we haven't talked about them enough. I mean, they're so fucking cool. And some of the dialogue between like orcs to orcs is some of the coolest shit. you know in all the movies. And Jeremy, you used to do the from Two Towers. Why can't we have some meat?
I ain't nothing. I can eat bread for 3 stinking days.
Yeah.
Can we have some meat?
I love the like goblin that chases them into the forest, and he's like,
I want to stick your maggot hole in you.
What about the legs? They don't need that.
Yeah, I think his name is that's Grishnak is his name.
I like that. I like him a lot too, and I also like the orc that's like that is about to stab Frodo in Return of the King, and then Sam's like, "No, if I ain't stick you fast."
Yeah, his name is Gorbag,
and he goes to fucking work, man.
Dude,
like,
he's a bad motherfucker.
Dude, that double like kick move he does, like when everybody's like attacking him, like, "Oh, he tried to kill me." It is so fucking cool, man. Those guys, those guys murdered the shit out of each other so fast.
Says, no, that's that place they're at. It's called Kirith Ungol, and like it's like that's one of the few times we get to see like orc culture, and they're just like beating the fuck out of each other for like no reason. So much so that like these two guys who are gonna destroy this thing could just like go in there and fucking leave, like because no one's paying attention. But I love like that exchange between those two orcs. One of them's name's Gorbag, and the other one's name I don't know the other one's name, but they're going through all the shit they took off Frodo, and he picks up the mithril shirt, and he's like, and he's like, the other guy's like, "That's mine, like give me that," and he's like, "This is all going to the Great Eye, just like everything else." So he's like, Gorbag is kind of like this true believer. You know, he's like, no, we're taking it to the eye, man. Like, it's all going to Sauron. And the other one's just kind of, the other one's kind of like, no, that's like he's in it for himself, you know?
We found it. Yeah, give that to me. Yeah. Which is like, what are you going to do with that? You can't fit in it.
What are they going to do with anything? Like, what do they do? Do they just kill, like, and then we see them and they're just like killing each other for no reason. Like,
and it happens so fast. Like, they massacre each other so quickly for Sam to like get up there or whatever. I mean, that brawl is all time stuff. Anyways, Gothmog is my favorite orc. I love the orcs. I love, again, we talked about their armor, like how different everything is, the design. They're just cool as shit. So I wanted to pick one, and he's a very memorable one. So Adam, you're up next.
Okay. Well, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. So give me Bilbo Baggins.
Yes.
Bilbo Baggins.
Do not take me. Yeah, how have we not done that bit yet?
We haven't. This is our first Hobbit.
Yeah.
First
Hobbit, you're right.
And
not even one of the main four. Wow. Yeah. Do we not like the Hobbits? Is that a thing? Is that?
I mean, Sam is it's just
compared to everybody else. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they're just not as cool. I mean, they bow to no one, but they're not as cool. So
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. They don't. It's like it's the least interesting part of the story to me. Obviously, it's like the whole thing. It's like the reason, you know, like the evil is defeated is because of Sam, and like they have some really cool moments of friendship, and there's some like
small people can do stuff too. Yeah,
huge life lessons to take from Sam and his and Frodo and their thing, but it's not near as interesting as taking Balrog, you know. So
no, okay, then why'd you pick Bilbo?
So I will go with Bilbo though, because I do think there's like a depth to that character. That
Ian Holm, baby,
that we don't have, you know, with the other four. Obviously he's lived a huge life, and he kind of is like the guy that kicks off the whole thing, right? I mean, like the Hobbit is literally, you know, it's him, and he's like the kind of reason this whole story kind of gets in motion. Like, you know, he's the one who had the ring for a long time, and I think that, you know, we tied up perfectly at the end of the movie with him kind of sailing off into the sunset, quite literally. So I think, and he's got some great lines, so it's a really fun character, and one that I think makes the movie much richer.
Yeah, Ian Holm is great. I love when they're in Rivendell and he sees Frodo, and Frodo's wearing the ring, and he does that like.
Yeah. That freaked me out, man. The first time,
creepy, dude. Yeah. No, it scared me for a good while. Like, you're always caught off guard by it because there's a second before he does it.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, Bilbo is awesome, and I really enjoy this this like, you know, version of him, this older version, and it's pretty sweet towards the end too. But also him and Frodo when they're like riding away in that like carriage. It's also like really scary how he's like, "What about that ring? I sure would like to hold that one more time." Like, he still like has this somewhere in his like, because he's like clearly got like some kind of like dementia.
Yeah.
It's still got a hold on him. You know, it's crazy. And I think they say that he only had it for like 60 years or something, or what is it? Like, it's not super long compared to the
Yeah,
other.
whereas Gollum was like 500, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I think he
Yeah.
was supposed to be like in his 40s in The Hobbit, so he's 111. So yeah,
Oh, so yeah, 60
he's
years
had
or
it like
so.
70 years.
Yeah, yeah. So it's and it has this crazy hold on him. Yeah, yeah. He's great though, man. I love Bilbo. That's a good shout. I didn't think he'd get picked, but I love that he did.
Yeah, I was
My-
surprised with
my
that. I
favorite-
disagree with you all about not liking the Hobbits. Like I love the Hobbits.
I do too. I just am shocked that no one's picked one of the main four. So
I
maybe
kinda-
we can change that.
I banked on no one picking the main four so that I could pick one at the end.
Well, here you go.
got
You have
5
two
spots
picks.
left. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I know,
Jeremy,
yeah, it's worked
last
out
two
nicely
picks?
for me. Yeah, Samwise Gamgee, dude.
Yes,
Tolkien
yeah.
often said that Sam was the true hero of the story. So many times that it should have failed, that Frodo would have fucked up, like, and Sam pulls it out the last minute so many times, like it wouldn't have gotten done without him.
Oh
way.
God,
No way.
no. Yeah.
Also,
No, he's
like,
his optimism in moments of true like just true despair are crazy. I mean, he is like the most like just person in the entire thing. Yeah, he's incredible.
there's some good in this world, Mr. Fro.
Yeah, yeah, he's he's just I don't know whether it's like for good, like better or worse. I don't know. He's just like blinded by like I'm just gonna always be positive, and I don't know. I think it ends up being a great thing for this world.
Yeah,
the moment where Gollum, tricks him, throws the bread off the cliff, and Frodo tells him go home. To see Sam break like that is pretty fucking disparaging for the movie. To see like he's our like
Yeah,
consistent
yeah,
hope, and to see him lose that hope hurts a lot.
yes,
But
yeah,
then goes back up there and he fucks up that spider and saves the day, man.
yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
cool.
so I feel like the things that Sam does, because I really feel like the hobbits are us, like they're humans, like living in like I mean, not every human lives like that idyllic kind of world, but like I feel like the life that I've led, like these are the characters I identify most closely with,
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah. This
And the
like this
things-
is an insane adventure for
Yeah.
anyone like us.
Think
Yeah.
about the things that Sam does, like yeah, like mostly in Return of the King, like the things that he fucking like is like doing just to get his friend back, like and complete the fucking quest, like
Yeah, yeah.
okay, he fights a giant spider, like he kills like 3 orcs, like which like he hasn't really done that much of that. I mean, I like the scene where he's like hitting people with a frying pan in the cave troll scene. He's like, I think I'm getting the hang of this.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's very much like that kind of character. That's the way he's written in the movie, and like he just like this total sweetheart, kind of like just not fit for this world at all. But like it all starts with him dropping some eaves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I
Sam,
love
have
his,
you been eavesdropping?
I love it
noise.
that he gets like a good ending, and he does end up like with children and his like dream lady is so cool because like yeah, he doesn't really belong in this world because of like how optimistic he is, but he like carves his own path. And like I don't know, I think like you can like you call him kind of like corny at times, but fuck man, like we should all strive for that. We should all strive for like making our own like little life that we can appreciate and actually like look forward to waking up to. And like that's what he's all about, man. Like Sam's like
Yeah, he is very corny, but that's the point,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that and I think for me, Sam is a more of like Sean Astin's great, but I think for me it's more just like what that character means in like the
Yeah.
grand like
Yeah.
scheme of the narrative more so than it is like, oh, this is such an incredible performance,
Yeah.
for
Where like
sure.
where like Denethor for me more is like, oh, this actor just like fucking went there, like
Yeah, totally agree.
It's I mean and like I said, like Tolkien also, like would say that he's the true like hero of the story, like I mean he pulled constantly whole movie, like the ring would have gotten destroyed without him like so many fucking times, and he also is technically one of the ring bearers because he held it for a while.
Yeah.
So he actually could have gone. I actually think he maybe goes to Valinor, like the Undying Lands. Like I think maybe he does go in the end because he technically was like a ring bearer, so he did get to go. It's like they don't let anyone go to Valinor on like the ships, but I think like if you were a ring bearer, you're allowed to go. They let Gimli go. It's like the only dwarf they ever let go. I don't know.
I feel like Gimli forced his way onto that boat.
Well, Gimli was like because of
I go or
Aragorn or because of
nobody
Legolas. Like he got to go because of Legolas.
Well, and his people are like gone. So
Yeah.
it's like been a genocide of the race.
Dwarves. Yeah.
Oh well, no, there's still like several dwarf cultures like all over. Just like Moria is gone. There's another one called Erebor, which is still like a dwarf city. There's still a shitload of dwarves there. It's weird that they don't ever show us. There's only like 4 dwarves in the whole
The
movie,
entire thing, yeah.
but they're not really present. They're doing their own. They're in another war with like this other opposition in the north. They're doing their other shit. That's what all the elves are doing too. So there's like this whole other war happening in other parts of the world. We're just shown what's happening like with the main events,
Middle Earth.
like fucking no. I mean, there's other parts of Middle Earth. We're just shown the ring and like the initial kind of like shield of like these like kingdoms of men that are like right next to the evil hubs, Isengard and Mordor. Yeah. And that's the story. That's where the good story's at, That's
Good stuff.
That's literally the narrative, like I don't know. I have one more though, right?
Yep. Yeah. Last pick for Jeremy. Here we go.
Oh my god, just one more. What do I do? I don't know, I kind of got everything I wanted, or y'all got it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to do here.
Could just take the combo.
What'd you say?
You could just take the combo. Frodo and Sam.
I'll go with Sauron.
Sauron, nice.
Oh yeah.
That's a
There you go.
big
That was
departure from.
next on my list.
Yeah. Sam and Sauron, best buddies.
Yeah, so I mean Sauron sort of isn't like corporeal, at this point in the story, but like, I mean you were talking about Bilbo set it all off. Bilbo didn't set off shit. Sauron set it off.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well,
yeah, that opening sequence, like where we get to see that, the battle, and then like Sauron fighting people, like, and he just has that like mace that just like magically like fucks everybody up. He gets near. Yeah, he looks cool as fuck. He forged the One Ring, man. He lit the fuse. He started the fire. And
He's always burning.
He's such a presence, just in like all the conversation of the characters, but like all we ever really hear him say is like, and then like, I see you.
Aragorn.
That's all we
We
really
do
ever
get-
hear.
build me an army worthy of Mordor. We get that.
Oh, we do, yeah.
Well, and then the mouth later. We get like a whole scene.
Yeah, so I mean,
The mouth of Sauron.
the mouth of Sauron, I don't know if he is like an embodiment of Sauron.
I always saw him as more of like an ambassador.
Yeah.
I support what's going on here. Yeah.
His head chopped off. So
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, if it was really a part of Sauron, Aragorn wouldn't be able to just decapitate him and walk away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could because he did, but he did. It is written. It is written.
Written in stone. Okay. So Sauron is your last pick?
Yeah,
How
sure.
how fitting. Adam, last pick?
So we've got 3 left. We have the other 3 hobbits left and a few others scattered about. I mean, it feels really weird to not take the 3 other hobbits.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, Adam.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind.
No pressure.
I don't mind. Give me Mary.
Yeah,
There's a
Mary's
lot of-
great.
There's a lot of other characters that have not been taken yet.
Oh, I know. There's loads.
But those 3 are pretty important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Can I interest you in a pint-sized consolation prize?
yeah, yeah. You can drink your fancy ales.
Drink 'em by the
Yes. Drink
Yeah, I
them
don't know.
by the flagon.
I actually really like on this rewatch in particular. I think maybe it was the relationship with Eowyn and just like his whole little kind of quest. I think there's more to Mary than I first thought after the first few times.
Oh
seeing
yeah.
it.
Mary's great.
Yeah.
Mary is a great. Mary and Pippin are both great characters.
They are. There's just like loads of heart to them, but it's not like there is more depth there. I think particularly with Mary. I mean, Pippin probably ends up getting more screen time just because of the nature of the relationship with Gandalf, but yeah, Mary I think plays a pretty key role in like these like little like side things that kind of like needed to happen to like set like all these like things in motion. He plays a huge role in them, and I think like at the end when you have the 4 hobbits standing side by side, there's moments. I think the first couple of times watching these movies through, I was like Frodo and Sam did a lot more than, than these two. Like should we kind of elevate them on the same level? But it's like no, actually they do play their role. I mean, they do really like a lot. Would not have happened if it wasn't for those two. So I think to give them their flowers is right. So let me go with Mary, my last pick. So I ended up with a couple hobbits there at the end.
Yes, Bilbo and Mary.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Mary a lot. I really like off screen Dominic and Billy Boyd. Their relationship's really fucking cool. They've got some hilarious interviews together. It makes sense that they're able to do this, play these characters together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I love that. I'm not gonna take Frodo or Pippin. I love Pippin. Frodo's tough, man. I don't know. I'll save in case Connor's gonna take it, but I want to take Treebeard.
That would have been my backup pick was Treebeard. That's funny.
I love Treebeard. I love the Ents are going to war. Yeah, I love his voice. I love the fact the fact that that's a thing. Like that these Ents, these trees that like talk and communicate and can just fucking crush their opponent. It's great, and we get like real action from them. I think it's like a great scene when they're in Isengard and just going to town because they see like their fellow Ents have been chopped down. Their fellow like he's like those are my friends. I really like Treebeard, and I was gonna take Shelob because I like monsters and like big characters that are larger than life, and it was between Treebeard and Shelob, so I'm ultimately going to go with Treebeard, who has like actual lines. Yeah. Connor, do you have the last pick? Unless you have something to say about Treebeard.
Bottom.
Bottom.
Tree. I am no
tree.
Sounds like orc mischief to me. We have decided that you are not orcs.
Well, I'm not picking Frodo either.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Are you picking Pippin?
Frodo Baggins did not make it into the draft.
Do they, Gandalf?
I'm not a huge fan of Frodo. Like,
Neither.
I don't know.
I am and I'm not. I don't know.
He is so insanely fragile.
Yeah.
Like everyone is carrying him to this volcano. There's 3 fake out deaths with this guy over the course of the trilogy, which I didn't need. Everyone's always carrying him, literally and figuratively to the goal. And yeah, I just don't buy
He's
it.
carrying the ring though. You know what I mean? Like
share the load.
Share the load.
I could carry it for a while. Carry it for a while.
For a while, carry.
I don't know, just He always seems like he's on the verge of tears. I feel like if I was part of that fellowship, I'd get really annoyed really fast.
Yeah,
So
and I don't know. He also, I know people like giving him shit. Like it's a very hard thing to do. Like this character, and he was like 18, 19 years old, but he like looks like he's about to take a shit half the time.
I know.
He's just like,
for me, what did it for me is the bit in Return of the King when like the eye is fixated on him and Sam's like, get down, and he does some like super elaborate pratfall. Oh boy.
Pussy.
I do like I like Elijah Wood's when he kind of just gets kind of like mean towards Sam, like his delivery of that line that because it makes sense that like Frodo's this really like good natured guy, like he's a really nice person. Seems like everybody likes him in the Shire, like he's always got fucking buds around or whatever, but he's like, I can't remember what Sam says. He's like, you need to get some sleep or something. And he's like, what do you know about it? Nothing.
Oh.
I love the way Elijah
encouraging
Wood
some
delivers
rest.
that line. Wait, no one picked this. You still have to pick something, right, Connor?
I do.
Yeah.
I just figured we wanted to say a little something about Frodo before we kicked him out of the party.
You were wrong.
He's like the main character of the movie, you know.
So we're just shitting on him. Yeah, we're just
Well, I gotta say, like, if we were doing a Harry Potter draft, I wouldn't take Harry Potter either.
Neither would I.
I wouldn't take anybody. I wouldn't take a
Being the main
goddamn
character does
person.
not automatically gain you VIP entrance to the draft.
No, those two guys, those two actors are tied together kind of forever for whatever reason. Like I just think it's like they kind of hit at the same time and relatively close in age, and it's like, what are they going to do after? I mean, they both have done some interesting stuff. I think Radcliffe even more so is like taking these like really cool swings and really kind of try to do some interesting things. But
I would say the same, but in favor of Elijah Wood, actually. Maybe just because I've seen more of Elijah Wood's stuff.
I think Elijah Wood's done more like interesting movies or TV, but like Radcliffe has like done
indie horror, and I respect that.
But Radcliffe has done like stage work that's like super out there, and involving a horse for one of them. So what's your last pick, Connor?
Well, I wouldn't want to break up a set, so I'm going to stay evil, and I'm going to go with Lurtz.
Oh, I love Lurtz. Yeah,
nice
pick. Lurtz.
This hulking son of a bitch rips his way out of the tree womb, strangles like two orcs, like when he's 6 seconds old, dons the white face paint, shows up to play, and kills Boromir as his first act on Earth. Like, wow.
Yeah, I kind of wish.
And then he dies.
Yeah, I wish he would have lived.
He dies like almost on his own terms. Like,
goes out like a
cuts some stuff off, but Lurtz is like, fucking do it, when he like roars, leans into the sword, and just roars in his face.
Short, brutal life of an Uruk-hai.
Yeah. What a badass.
Yeah, one.
And the actor almost killed Vigo with that misplaced sword throw or knife throw.
Yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, Vigo has a few crazy incidents on set there. That's a great pick. Lurtz kicks ass.
I had Lurtz on my list, man. He's a presence.
Exactly. He looks like he's 7 feet tall and is just like ready to fucking destroy anything in his path.
He pulls Aragorn's dagger out of his leg and like licks the dirty black blood. Like this is a monster. This is not a warrior. This is not a fighter. This is not, someone to be reasoned with. This is a monster.
Yeah, he's nuts. Yeah, that's it. I love that for being the last pick. So no Pippin, no Frodo, right away. That's tough beat for the old hop for the Shire.
The other notable people I have here, I wrote all of them down. So I mean, Deagle.
Yeah.
No love for Deagle.
I mean,
this one, I'm serious about this one, who I actually think is a character who has a lot of presence in a short amount of time. Haldir.
Yeah, Haldir's awesome.
Man. Haldir's a really fucking cool character. Faramir.
Yeah.
Of course, nobody wants Faramir. Isildur.
Literally. Isildur,
yeah. He didn't get picked, yeah.
Isildur did not get picked. That's kind of it. I mean,
Nazgul.
Shelob. I mean, Witch King was picked.
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah, Shelob. I mean, a couple of orcs got picked. That's better than 0, right? The
Yeah.
best,
No gambling.
the best character who did not get picked is Grond, the wolf's head. Grond.
Gambling, I like. Gambling didn't get picked.
Yeah.
Rosie Cotton,
Rosie. No, Rosie. Ellen Deal,
King of the Dead.
the king guy, the king of the dead, didn't get picked. Yeah, for orcs we've got Sharku, who's a pretty great orc. He's the wolf guy who's like, he took a little tumble off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shagrat never got chosen. Shagrat is the I'm starving. He's that guy. The Watcher in the Water,
Mm-hmm.
Jagrat.
who's actually like a super interesting character because they're like, there's nothing about the Watcher. There's no like lore. Like it's just this fucking thing that lives there. And Figwit. Figwit was not chosen. Figwit was not chosen.
Well,
None of the other ents.
No, I didn't put any of that. I didn't write any of them down. Some of them are named.
Yeah, no, he
like,
says
they're
yeah.
well, no, he never says them in the movie, but like they're credited.
I thought he did.
Like, no, he
Whenever
says
they-
a bunch of tree names. He's like,
You're right. He says types of
Oh,
yeah. That's right.
so one of the characters I wrote down that I don't know if y'all would consider. Would y'all consider the One Ring being its own character, or is that the One Ring is just Sauron?
Oh, now we're
That's
getting.
Sauron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it as a character. Yeah.
Now we're getting
I see it
weird.
as a character, but I see it as Sauron.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
because it's when he made the rings. I don't think we need to go down this hole.
It
We're
is
already what are we 3 fucking hours in here?
Yeah. I feel like
What's the
Kinda
length
hanging
of the
out.
film, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the rule. That's the rule.
It's got to be
Is
as
you
long as the
can't-
film.
Well,
It can't
the
be
extended,
longer than the film.
the extended Return of the King is what, 4 hours? So
Could end it here and then record more, and then I can tack that on as an extended edition of the episode.
well, how about we just record Jeremy listing all of the crew
names.
members. Second unit director of assistant director.
No
like
one, no
400 people.
No one picked assistant to the second gaff.
I noticed in the credits at
Why?
one point, I just happened to like pause it because I was like going through the credits, like fast forwarding just to get to the end of the thing, so it wouldn't stay on my continue watching thing on Max. But one of the credited people was personal trainer to Mrs. Tyler.
Nice.
I love how it says that in the credits where it's the actors and it's like, assistant to Mr. I can't even think of any of it. McKellen, Mr. McKellen.
Yeah.
I always like seeing who catered. I don't know why.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, like were they in the mood for Mexican, Italian? Yeah. What does New
Yeah, I
Zealand
know.
have to offer?
Was Gandalf eating, tacos or Wellington on? I know when they yelled cut.
Yeah.
Beef Wellington, yes.
That would
I've
make
never
sense.
seen that video of Ian McKellen he's like at that school and he's talking out the window to the kids and he's like, you know what's gonna happen if you don't study? And they're like, no. And he's like, you shall not pass.
That's great. That's awesome.
We
I
went
love
through
it.
this whole thing without saying that line. That's the line.
No,
right?
I said it. I said it earlier when I
You
picked it.
did.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
is that the biggest quote from the film though? You think you shall not pass? The most enduring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Yeah, that's made the rounds for sure. But
So it begins.
there's so many
It's
good.
definitely
or
not. It's
I
definitely
don't
not.
know.
So it begins.
No.
I don't know. I feel like I've yelled even like out of content or like no one really knows what I'm talking about. I've just yelled like for Frodo, death and like death and stuff like that. And, not for anyone else or to anyone else. Just maybe me.
Matt and I have done the I see in your eyes. That was
Yeah. The same fear. It is not this day. Yeah. Vigo's great. Yeah, let's recap here the list. Connor went first. He had Boromir, Denethor, Witch King, Grima, Saruman, and Lurtz. So yeah, it's a pretty evil group there. But I dig it. I like it. I feel like let's say they're their own fellowship. Yeah, it might fall apart just because of the egos, but at the same time, at least they're gonna be on the same page, you know?
I mean, fellowship for what? They're not destroying shit.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if they were tasked with maybe not destroying, but like keeping it as their own and like harnessing it and doing what they want with it. They might be on the same page as far as like, oh, we want to do evil, but they might like also cut each other's heads off.
Yeah, that turns into a fight between Saruman and the Witch King for the ring very quickly because everybody else is dead.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Boromir's like, I swear I'm good. Get me out of here. I went second. I was able to get Gandalf, Golem, Galadriel, Arwen, Gothmog, and Treebeard. Adam went third. He got Aragorn, Elrond, Legolas, Eomer, Bilbo, and Merry. And Jeremy went fourth and picked up Theoden, Eowyn, Gimli, Durin's Bane, the Balrog, Sam, and Sauron. Very nice. 24 characters that all got plenty of time here on the episode. So yeah, I mean, this was in honor of Return of the King, literally hitting the 20-year anniversary recently, because obviously these are very important to us. We're on hour 3 here, so we clearly care a lot about these, and we knew, we never know when we're going to be able to talk about these again on an episode, so we don't really care how long it is. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you probably won't care either. Thanks for listening, guys. If you like what we do, feel free to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you have a Letterboxd, search Connor95, and you can find the rest of his team and followers and following. Check out filmgazm.com for trailers, reviews, all that kind of jazz. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, feel free to click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on support this podcast. Any amount of donations will go right back into the show. We appreciate anything you can give. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for your contributions to the show. Special shout out to Cooley Cal for our intro music. And most of all, thank you all for listening. Keep watching movies, and we'll see you very soon.